The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can champion, we can do it together. When we look to the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the BNP. People say the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it does stop, comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We get Jlp.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
The scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs. I know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.
Hello, welcome. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to those in television land. Happy Friday to our silent supporters. Happy Friday to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much as usual for tuning in. Remember, guys, when you come in, thumbs up the live, share us out if you can. And if you're new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing, which will be greatly appreciated. This afternoon's topic is Morally Bankrupt with your host, Mystic Sensation, which is Baron and Anne-Marie. We also have Pink Skew Green and Melting Pot will be joining in shortly. Let me just go ahead and welcome those in the chat. Don Mel, bless up yourself. Sonia Johnson, Falmouth Girl 2, Isaac's family, Patel Cruikshank, Serene Sue, and Gideon Gidari Singh. Welcome. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the continued support. Without any delay, I am going to hand over to Baron. Marcia Edwards, Renice Nicholson, bless up, welcome.
All right, thank you, honey, as always, for that wonderful precursor. And of course, we have Lady Spinks right in the house with us. Melting Pot will be joining us shortly. We will be also covering the press conference, People First, campaign update and press briefing, right? That with Raymond Price, Scott Motley, and of course Cleveland Tomlinson will be touching across at roughly about 3 p.m. thereabout. So we'll be just moving from our life and make that transition. All right. Now, Jamaican people, let me say this.
2 p.m. It's 2 p.m.
Oh, 2 p.m. Sorry. Jamaican people, we have seen where the Jamaica Labour Party, right? They are in so much trouble. And obviously, we have seen where a lot of, as it relates to civil workers being promised, right, wages and so forth. Their back is totally against the wall, knowing that it is coming down to a wire, and obviously they had not delivered, and so then the only thing that they're depending on, right, promise. But we are used to that 100 days promise that did not deliver, and many more promises that was not delivered. So let me just go into our first introduction in terms of the Jamaica Labour Party in trouble. Oh, but I'm passing Pinks. All right, let me just squeeze in Lady Spinks for Lady Spinks to, have herself, right, meet and greet her wonderful people as usual. Right, melting pot soon be here. So, Sister Pinks, take it away.
Yes, good afternoon, Lady Anne Marie. Good afternoon, Uncle Byron. And good afternoon to my comrade leader, chairman, chairwoman, Gen 6, our candidates, and our blood and fire comrades. And I would like to say good afternoon again to our people from St. James, especially my friends and family from Northwest St. James, and to
All right.
everyone in the chat this afternoon, and to Melting Pot who's yet to come over.
All right. Yeah, melting pot is tuning up to get in.
Yeah.
So, all right, my Jamaican people, let me say this. We saw where Christopher Tufton went on his campaign, right, on the political platform where Christopher Tufton propagandized and defamed, right, KD Knight, and so then,
Defamation.
yes, right, we have seen now where, of course, Christopher Tufton, as a result of pride, right, and let me say this, Jamaica, because I realize that this is Jamaica Labour Party tactics, right, to go out and, defame, right, the People's National Party candidates, where they know very well, right, and people who are associated with the People's National Party, where they know very well that it is not true, but they believe that they have the money and they can pay for the lawsuit. That's fine. But the fact of the matter, this goes to show you that the Jamaica Labour Party, most of what they are talking about, right, actually 90% of what they are talking about, just lies, propaganda. And let me just give the detail in terms of what KD Knight is doing now, bringing the lawsuit in court. So it's now in court. Let us find that document, Tony, and read it. So KD Knight is even going further, right? And I believe, as it relates to the status on that, KD Knight also is pursuing criminal charges against Christopher Tufton. But just look at it in terms of what Christopher Tufton now put himself in. We don't expect Christopher Tufton to speak any truth because we know that Christopher Tufton is a spinner. He's an original spinner. Now here we have it. K Knight files lawsuit against Tufton. August 21, 2025. Here it is. Former Senator and Cabinet Minister KD Knight has followed through on his threat to file a lawsuit against Health Minister and Jamaica Labour Party campaign chairman. They're talking about KD Knight following through. KD Knight is not joking. KD Knight don't play no. Right? Dr. Christopher Tufton for allegedly defaming him during a JLP mass rally held in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew on August 10. Document released to the media showed that the suit was filed in the Supreme Court on Wednesday by attorneys from Knight's law firm, Knight, Jr. and Samuels. Clearly, Knight is not playing. The claim states that Tufton falsely and recklessly, maliciously, and or without reasonable probable cause published and or caused to be published a manipulated audio recording purportedly to be that of the claimant in which defamatory words were spoken. It notes that the recording played was wholly false and malicious, and of course, Christopher Tufton knew this before he even played. He's a part of the plan, right, to come out and defame KD Knight as the claimant, has never said those words and in such order in any forum, either privately or publicly. So KD Knight has never, right, stated what he had manipulated there. It says thousands who attended the rally or tune in via live broadcasts and traditional and social media were deliberately misled by the recording that claimant's view was that People's National Party President Mark Golding was unfit to become Prime Minister of Jamaica. The last two charges that Tufton failed to do all that was necessary to verify the authenticity of the recording, and that he failed to apologize for and withdraw the defamatory statement even after being written to by Knight's attorney. We have a saying, says shame the load, but it broke neck. And this is what is happening now to Tufton, because he's so embarrassed because he came out in the public, right? Spew his venom, his venomous poison of lies, and now everything caught upon him. But this is something that is expected by Christopher Tufton. We know that Christopher Tufton is a whole liar. The claim states that the defendant prejudiced the right of the claimant to enjoy a good character, breaches freedom of expression, and trespass on his right to participate in free and fair elections. Knight is seeking, among other things, damages for defamation, including exemplary and aggravated damages, vindicatory damages, and cost. Knight Jr. and Samuels had issued a letter demanding a formal public apology and retraction from Tufton by 10 a.m. Friday, August 15, warning what complying would not halt legal proceedings but could mitigate the damage. And Christopher Tufton did not heal. Christopher Tufton did not heal, as a matter of fact. I'm almost certain that Christopher Tufton went and doubled down. However, Tufton understood the authenticity of the clip and has indicated that he would not be apologizing, right? Even when Christopher Tufton knew that, right, that was a lie. I see where Diane, what's her name? Diane Jackson Miller, right, had played both clips, right, and definitely where it was clear that the clip, the original clip, was manipulated by Christopher Tufton himself and his colleagues. Speaking at a Jlp press conference a day before the deadline, he confirmed he had heard of the legal threats and said his legal team is prepared to respond and potentially counter-sue. Christopher Tufton, you can't counter-sue nobody because, I don't know why you tell the public this. You can't counter-sue because automatically you are going to lose, and, it is more money you are going to spend and you are going to lose again. You are going to lose the case. Now, let us go to the panel and let us discuss this before we get into. Let us bring up Melton Pot. All right, Melton Pot. Let me just have you meet and greet your people as usual.
Yeah, greetings once again to one another, Good
Bless
to be
it.
here again. A lovely Friday afternoon, sharing the space.
Love the orange. Love the orange.
Thank you. And as usual, we are here to just dissect,
Yes.
and just to bring the truth and the facts out to the people as usual. So once again, pleasant afternoon to you all. Blessings.
All right. Now let us get into that as it relates to the lawsuit, right? We know very well that, as we said, shame the Lord, but it broke neck, right? So let me just have Sister Pinks, right, just juggle on it in terms of, this lawsuit situation. Sister Pinks.
Thank you, Uncle Byron. It is so typical of people who are arrogant.
Yes.
When they are wrong, they come out strong.
Yes.
And we have seen this being played out, not just by Christopher Tufton, but people like Karen Cross, Natalie Stack, Andrew Holness, and others,
Yes.
right? And to see that how this lawsuit started was that I was watching their program, their meeting at halfway tree. And I started to watch the program when Babs Grange was there on stage making her presentation of life. And then Tufton came on. And when I heard the message that he put forward and played that tape right away, without any hesitation, I came off their live and I contacted KD Knight because this is what we are supposed to do as comrades. We protect each other. When someone is telling a lie on another comrade, we are supposed to protect the honest and true comrade. And as a comrade, I thought it my duty to, to make KD Knight be aware of the situation, and henceforth he was able to pursue. But Christopher Tufton is wrong and strong, and it's so typical of them. So typical
Yeah,
of them to behave this way. When they are wrong, they all come out strong. They want us to justify. Look at the case before the court that Andrew has taken the IC to court. He's come out wrong and strong.
yes,
You understand me? And wrong and strong will always put you in front of a court.
exactly,
Christopher Tufton should have looked at the experience of Andrew, what he's going through, and just simply be submissive and just admit that he is wrong.
exactly,
But some people in politics, some people who love the spotlight, some people who are arrogant, and if we are comrades, we cannot be like this. When we are corrected, even in private or public, we are supposed to take the correction. We are all human beings, and human beings make mistakes. So all Tufton had to do was come out and say, I'm sorry, I was misinformed, I was given the wrong information, blah blah blah. Argument done.
exactly,
Instead of saying he's going to counter challenge this case, what can you counter challenge? You play the tape. Everybody heard it, everybody listened to it, and you went on Dion Travis Miller's program and doubled down. That is so typical of people who are arrogant and not. And let me explain this again. Tufton was not like this years ago when I met him. Something has happened. Something has changed since he has become member of parliament under the GLP. He has changed completely. So again, I have to ask, like what our comrade Damian Crawford asked: Are they drunk? What's in the room? What
what
are
are
they
they,
taking over there?
who
You
make the
understand?
wrong,
What chemical? What chemical dependency are they on that they behave this way? Because it's only when people have a chemical dependency they behave like this. The whole persona, the whole character change.
yes,
It's a complete opposite of who I met years ago. He is the complete opposite. I can understand Andrew being like this all along, and some people being like this all along. But Tufton, you're a changed person, very much. And I yield the floor.
all right, thank you for that input there. Yes, we have seen the situation in terms of Tufton, being wrong and strong, and the evidence is clear. And so then KD Knight put the case in the Supreme Court, right? Of course, it is just a 1-2 for the Supreme Court to decide on that. The tape is clearly manipulated, and Tufton, right, should have known. But we don't expect better from Tufton. It is the same behavior Tufton is doing as it relates to explaining the amount of billions of dollars unaccounted for as it relates to the Cornwall Regional Hospital. So it is not different. It's only showing you or revealing you who Tufton really is. Tufton is someone who, you understand, try to put up the lie and try to double down. That will just bring Melting Pot in the space, right, where this is concerned. Melting Pot.
Thank you, Brother Byron. Yeah,
Yes.
man. Yeah. We all know in life, everyone go through stage of change. You understand? So privilege is something, when you give to people and them change it around, the privilege, and turn it into power, and then become big to society and bigger than society, then them find it hard to hold up the man and apologize. And in the case with Tufton and many more from over the Jamaica Labour Party side, because them are this big Dan now in our country, you know, as it relates to the privilege where the people them give them and them money where them Ghana will swell them bank account, everybody know about them, so them a big shot. Them people now will up the man and apologize, you know.
Yes.
Because them are made to look hard in there and embarrass, and them don't like that type of, you know, persona coming them way. But we know say Tufton doctor the tape, fabricated to suit their needs, and decide when them was going to make that available to the public ears. I see the occasion with them choose, yeah, we know so that was formulated and well constructed. But it backfired, because the lioness from the west was right there, and I hear everything, and immediately just contact the sheriff.
Exactly.
And, you know, a sheriff, you know, when him hear say outlaw in town, you know, him go and come out and pursue them. So that's what the sheriff did. And in spite of that, Tufton decides that him have a hold him grounds. So I'm gonna check one of them minion, Dean Jackson, yeah. And when you look, she you know conduct the interview with Tufton, yeah. Tufton not back down, he make sure stand him ground, and him say him stand by him word. It is KD night saying what him a play upon the tape. All right, Tufton now go back down, you know. Young thing can happen there and then. It's a lawsuit. Yeah, and you have to look more than one suit to fit Tufton in other prices there. Because remember, you know, defamation of character one, and plus the manslaughter interfere with cyberspace, so fall in the category of cybercrime. So Tufton have a flip thing on him plate right now. You understand? Because me always tell the people, you know, them people over there so make them eager get the better of them. Because some boss is slave over there, you know. Because them a slave for the people, I could tell them. Yeah? When I work for the people at Jamaica, I understand yourself. When I have some boss is slave. And I always get things wrong on the ground. But because you never have platform for highlight on the corruption and the filthiness in our society, we get with a lot of things. Now the platform them stand behind the sheriff and vice everything and play it over and over. So the people them are here, you understand? And when the people them here and realize say you Tufton, you're not wrong, what you think? And more people are switch from one now, man. Because the people are tired down the corruption and the behavior, you know. And as myself, I'm too big for up on hand and apologize. No, me not too big for apologize if I find myself in the wrong, you know.
Exactly.
Worse in a situation that can implicate me, when me have to find myself in our court. No, but I just right there and then just pull up me and apologize to the sheriff.
Exactly.
Yeah? And try to smooth things down. But you know, them don't want to really show, say them not really have no substance behind them and what them are doing, you know. So when do, him try to stand firm. Labor right can't stand firm, a PMP stand firm, Tufton, you idiot, what I'm doing. You be flexible. I make the sheriff and you work out a thing behind the scene. But if you just play like say you are this big monster, the sheriff will cut it down to size.
And that's exactly
And
what is happening.
the sheriff make sure tell him, say, well, you'll be hearing from my lawyer. So Tufton, what is the next move? Well, maybe I have to ask Andrew to come play that chess game for you. Because you know, no more movement, you know. You gotta move yourself in front of the justice system and not the one who want to create, you know. By the time you venture into that environment with the sheriff, and some new man the sheriff are gonna have now around the station.
Yes.
Yes, some new people are gonna control the lockup. Some new people are gonna try you. Not straight five. You don't have nothing to do with it this time. Guy like Tom Tavares, them can't defend your champagne, you know. Nobody won't have brown. The slate are white clean.
Exactly.
It's a new subject I put on the blackboard now to deal with the criminal down at Jamaica. Tufton, it was so easy. Because we all know no life, we play political football. Yeah. So the sheriff could have said, well, then, even though you score a goal, the sheriff could have said an offside goal and disallow it. And put back the ball at the center circle and allow you to play. But you other men say the goal where you score is a legitimate goal. And the sheriff make a note say, no, you're offside. Because we just use a football narrative and enough people know the game of football. But when you score offside goal, it can't count.
Exactly.
It has to be disallowed. So Tufton, the right thing that you should have done was to ease yourself. I know you up against, and the sheriff that KD Knight, renowned stalwart in the business of attorney at law, reputable man too. You understand? Exactly. And the fact of the matter said, you and the sheriff, not they on the same side, You know the sheriff now have no leniency for like when you play tough tongue. Tough tongue. And that you play, So, for the scheme on the plan up with Andrew Wallace, have the whole on dive off, she said, a treacherous water and the depths deeper than where Titanic sink. We don't even know if it is the water where Andrew have to jump off, Because from Andrew create this task force, we realize that the whole on the gone here wall. When the gone out on the head, dear man, because the whole on see all Queenie on stage that stagger, Don't know where she there, The whole on has some rum we don't know about. This is another jury and every rum. What we know about when you drink, you're supposed to relax. You feel a little bit tipsy, but you can't control. But no, you can't control yourself. And you can't control people. You Tufton now control your mouth. Queenie, she gone off of the rock. She look like a mad woman now. You understand? And I saw the thing just a feet. It come like a dead fall of flat. And that me say I'm too no manifesto. Yeah. We don't have no plan for the people going forward. The plan will not look for and say the people are the same thing we want to copy from the People's National Party. We know that. All we want to bring come the People's National Party, they want to talk about it longer than one. Xerox. Yeah? Loan some telling a long time. I want to play it out in front of the whole of John public. We don't have nothing about it, What we want to bring to the table right now is gutter politics. That's why it's fine now in a shit pit. Gutter politics. Because we want to have around as information source where I put out things. A PR that I put out. Big nasty mama them. Them they are lavish mama. The whole of them around the Fisheadless, Draws Davis, yeah, Emily, Dion Jackson Miller, the whole of them, I garbage them there. Because remember one thing them people are is the gravy. We are come them way, the whole heap of gravy. But that will come off of the menu now. So we have to understand, say, when time come, we have to fix up on ourselves. Changes is on the horizon. And none of them can break the chain. The chain that will hold corruption accountable. You can't break that, So no matter what you try, because you not try to win an election just to avoid prison term. Because I know no power that resign from the party in the election. No power that resign and run the country. That's why Jack can't make that happen, Jaja have to make the thing work in favor of the people them. in terms of the people them getting justice from uno criminal. And the justice for the people them want is just to the whole out behind bars. They have a clear run out of a society. I yield back the floor.
All right. Thank you for that input. Let me just quickly answer Latland here. Latland said, I heard the old IC DCP is shortlisted for DPP. I will confirm that as well, Latland. That is so. But let me tell you something, Latland. That's why it is imperative for us to know that we need to vote in Mark Golden with such a convincing win. Because we can solve that problem now as it relates to if it is that the IC DCP right has been shortlisted, and say for example that she had gotten right the job, what Mark Golden can do is to set up what we call oversight committee for the DPP. Simply mean, where am I going? Now we know that the Constitution had given the DPP right certain power to start a case and finish a case. And this is one of the things that we want to make sure that we really zoom in on as it relates to the excessive power that the DPP has. And that power needs to be checked. And so then in order to check that power, right, if Mark Golden definitely have a convincing win, right, then that can be changed. Because really and truly now, Mark Golden can set up an oversight committee that the DPP can just finish with a case without justificable cause. And if the public have concern as it relates to even the case with Andrew Holness, then that case must be sent to an oversight committee. It could be a panel of 3 judges, right, that will look and see, okay, why is it that the DPP want to just throw this case? Is it on a legitimate grounds that the DPP want to throw the case? Remember, you know, they don't have the system yet in place. You know, I am just suggesting that to counter that, because if Keisha Prince Kamika believes, say, okay, all right, they can curry favor the system and you know the system can select her, then Mark Golden can play the card, right? Mark Golden can play the card with that's a strategical approach to deal with her. So then said she has been selected just for the worst case scenario. We are making Keisha Prince no say, listen, what Mark Golden can do is to pursue what we call an oversight committee. That means you can't just throw the case just like that, Keisha Prince. It has to be now reviewed, right, by an oversight committee as it relates to the DPP. So we control your excessive power that the Constitution gives you. I think it's what? Section 94, subsection 4, right? Don't quote me on that, right? But if you check it, right, I could be wrong. But that, I think that is the section though that give the DPP that excessive power where she can start a case, right, and she can conclude a case. I think that is wrong. The DPP, right, powers need to be checked. And so then we are going to push it, right? So let me tell you something. Andrew Holness, right, administration can do all what they are doing to spin and try to get out of trouble, right? The corruption business that they are in, we are on social media, right, to lend our voice as well, right? And that is what we are going to pursue. Because if we see that she has been selected, right, Ruth Lynn Matthews said, no mistake, that would breach the Constitution. No, well, Ruth, this is what I'm saying, right, that it would be a situation to be, considered as it relates to the best way forward in terms of doing it. Because I do agree with you, Ruth Lynn, as it relates to what the Constitution said there, and I spoke of it. I think is section 94, subsection 4, right, where the Constitution, But again, where I'm going, Rootland, is to the fact, put up Rootland, let me see exactly what. Yeah, where I'm going, Rootland, with that, is Rootland with that. Where I'm going is to the fact that we have seen the situation in terms of how a DPP can be biased. And based on the case, so we can have a case study for this. Based on the case that Paula Llewellyn had ruled in favor, right, in terms of her biasness, right, where I can use one example, right? There are many examples as it relates to Paula Llewellyn. Number one, we can speak about the case as it relates to the FLA firearms that were lost by two of the People's National Party associates and two of the Jamaica Labour Party associates, and how the DPP had ruled, right, as it relates to our level of biasness. We can also use situation as it relates to the Patrick Bailey incident. So many situations we can use, right, as it relates to why we need to, right, definitely look on that law, right, and see if we can, you understand, put her as it relates to having checks and balance on the DPP power. And that is what I am saying. That is something that, you understand, can be pursued in terms of having an oversight committee where that is concerned, because of those given reasons and those known reasons in terms of what seems to be evidently so in terms of her biasness.
1 sec. Okay, guys, yes, we will be tuning in as well for the press conference once it starts.
Yeah, man.
So we'll be joining them once it starts.
Yes, YP is monitoring that. So once the press conference start, we will just flip to the press conference. It seems like we're going to just spending a long time here today. Well, we might just go on until we get into the next program. All right, so let us sit tight. Now, let us get into this document in terms of what I suspect. And there's some time ago that Melting Pot and myself, we were talking about, you know, it seems like, is it that when Mark Golding goes into power, that Mark Golding is going to find the treasury, right, in check? Or there are going to be, right, some discrepancies. And I am suspecting that, trust me, the treasury is in problem as it relates to Andrew Holness' kleptocratic government. So just now look at this, and this is the reason why I'm saying it. Going down to the last lap of the general election, right? And they have no money in terms of, you know, making any pay increase at all. Just promising. And believe you me, the civil workers are not letting them up. Let us get to that document on it. The civil workers, they are serious this time and they have the right to be serious. You can't just give yourself 200, 300%, right? And give all a Paula Llewellyn 200% so that your ranks can be covered up. And then you sacrifice other civil workers, civil servants, right? And so then that is the problem. So you are asking them now to take the little crumbs so you give them on the table when you and your friend are come along, right? Take 200, 300%. No, that's
0% is not crumbs.
Exactly. That's not fair. 0% is not even crumbs. 0% is zero. Nothing, nothing there for them get. You understand? So you're out of order. And while you take 200 and 300% and them to wait on you. Wait on you for what? Wait until what? Are you going to win the general election? Don't we know that your false promise as it relates to your 100 days? Everybody know you're not honest. Then done with you. Jamaica done with you. Government officials and trade unions meet today to discuss vexed wage issue, a most vexed wage issue. 21st August 2025. See here. Brand new news is Finance Minister Favour Williams, other government officials and several trade unions are engaged in wage talks at Jamaica House in Kingston. The meeting comes after public sector groups, including the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, took issue with the government 0% wage offer them out of that. Watch the audio here we can play.
At 9:30, there is a meeting of the national partnership with the unions there. to discuss wages. It will be at the Prime Minister's office, and we will have the unions there. We will have civil society there. We'll have government and opposition has been invited to it. So this is serious. There also, and the president has spoken to me about anomalies from the last negotiation, and that those anomalies also have to be addressed. So it's not just, the go forward position, but it's also addressing some anomalies that you have found. And it's not just you, it's also you and other public sector workers that have seen that.
Yes, this is so
The
unfair.
sitting president, although she's on vacation leave, would have made a commitment to break from her leave to attend that very crucial meeting. We anticipate that we'll get some good words from the Ministry of Finance as it regards to these workers. Separate and apart from the increment, which is performance-based, we expect to get a decent salary increase from the government. Not single digit, but at least a decent salary increase for the 2-year period that is being proposed.
All right, let us play the next.
We represent workers at the National Housing Trust, Jam, and a number of other groups around the country. And what I can tell you, the workers have made it clear that the 0% offer from the government is not on. And we certainly respect the workers' position, and we're going to support them 100%.
Take it away on it. Believe you me, but I must say that the government, right, just have an audacity, right, to even want to mention, right, what they had mentioned to the civil servant, knowing to the fact that they had taken 200 and 300% raise, right? What they need to do, look into themselves and roll it back. It needs to be rolled back because the economy simply cannot sustain it. And that is where that is the crux of the problem. That is really the crux of the problem, right? In terms of them getting 200, 300% increase, right? It can't work. We have seen a better example done in Burkina Faso, where Ibrahim Traoré did not do that, right? As a matter of fact, Ibrahim Traoré reduced parliamentarian pay, right, and give more dividend to, right, their civil servant, right, because they are the engine, really and truly, of the economy. And yet, this administration disrespected them totally. So let me just give, because we have a lot of things to break down on, and let me say this. We are going to get into some serious issues here today. We want to take on George Davis, and we want George Davis to come in front of the class, right? We want Cliff Hughes to come in front of the class today. Now, let us get into the panel, for the panel to just break down this. We are giving 6 minutes each for the panel to break down that, because we have so much to cover for today. Let us, of course, begin with Spinks. Spinks, squeeze it away as it relates to that situation with the officials and so forth.
Thank you, Uncle Byron. It just shows the disrespect and disregard they have for civil servants. This government has never respected civil servants. I remember in the back in the 80s when Seaga was in power, both my parents were nervous because Seaga, for the first time, decided to fire civil servants. Both my parents took on civil servant jobs because they thought they would be safe once they're employed within the government services. My mother was a teacher, my father was a fireman, and they thought having some job security as a civil servant was important to them while raising a family. And most Jamaicans enter into the civil servant industry simply because they want job security, a good pension at the end of their service. And when you see how from 2016, how our civil servants have been treated, firemen, firemen climbing up on our transport center in halfway tree to get attention to their cause, policemen taking the government to court for their overtime, and still they expect these police officers to be their bodyguard. How does that make any sense to you? You're not paying the person who is securing your back, yet
Exactly.
you are out here being wrong and strong again. Just like how we have 49% of our teachers who have migrated, 49% of our teachers who graduated have migrated. It's the same thing with our police and soldiers and the other persons who have trained here in Jamaica. And this constant brain drain is happening under this government. Every year, by September end, we are losing over 2,000 teachers. Why? By next week, we will see advertisements in the classified from different high schools or different schools advertising for teaching positions. And most of the time, it's the most important subjects like maths and English. How can you run a school without maths and English teachers? I remember in COVID time, there was a primary school here in Northwest St. James where the parents were asked to have an emergency meeting because September was school was scheduled to be open, and they had very little teachers, and they had to be scrambling to find teachers because some of the teachers just went without even making any announcement to the principals that they were leaving. Listen, I have had friends who have left the teaching services, opened a business here, and are doing much better because guess what happened? Their money is secure, their money is sure, working for themselves rather than working for this government. Many times we have seen teachers not being paid on time. One Christmas, Nigel said the algorithm was not working and computing on the computer, so that the teachers went one Christmas without their salaries being paid. Just imagine the same thing with our senior citizens. It was done to them also. One Christmas without their pension. And this is what keeps happening over and over again. This government doesn't have any empathy or sympathy for the citizens of this country. And I yield the floor.
Okay, thank you for that. Melting pot just riding right away where that is concerned. 6 minutes on the
Yeah,
time.
with all these, unrest, civil servant, yeah, and other sector of workers. We see where everybody is disgruntled as it relates to how the government treat them in terms of a structured pay package not being one that they can really live on. It shows that something is wrong as it relates to what's in the treasury in Jamaica. It looked like it's empty.
Yes,
Treasury seems to be well and truly empty. But Andrew Wallace earlier on last year was talking about them not Jamaica have a problem with money. It's just when him ready to spend it. You understand? So we know Andrew Wallace was lying to the people all along. Yeah? Because how can an economy we're not growing? Yeah? And we see the country in a recession. But the Prime Minister make we know say money there. We no need to worry with them. Now we see what is happening. People cannot get paid. The rank and file policeman them over 3 years them with them. I think the teachers think them go further than the 3 year as well. Yeah. A long time freeze the teacher them wages, So teacher need a good solid wage package to move them, because remember, teacher wages have been frozen for a while based on what was happening. At the time, they could have understand. Now you can't understand nothing that happen now, because remember the government award themselves between 230 and 300% with the parliamentary and them. We see a strike 5 get over 200% increase, and we know say we see some people with them fast track from out of the army, where they might get big salary package. Yeah, we see a guy will leave from Big Mama radio station, yeah, Dennis Brook, if they pay over 12 mil a year, and him not qualify man on nobody. So what we look upon is Andrew Holness administration having a certain favorable terms and conditions for who them favor, who them unpick, who them have a work for them in general. But the workers them in wider society, them treat them like them is nobody. As what Pinkskew said, that December when Nigel Clark come tell the teacher them about algorithm, that was bad, very, very bad. All right, if you have a problem in the algorithm section, but you cannot determine, you know, you must know so well then, all right, these teachers used to depend $200 a month. All right, me I will give them 150 and keep 50. You have to pay them some form of salary till they work out your algorithm system, you give them the balance as soon as possible. You must know, say, you can use your head and work out something for them, because you know what them salary range is all about, what it look like. So the algorithm system is supposed to stop professional teachers from getting paid at a critical time like December when it's a family time. We look what happened to the elderly people with them pension, same thing. So we know there's a problem with the finance sector in Jamaica as it relates to the government pool of funds where they have to spend. We look up at the civil servant and the pension of them and other areas in the society. Everything gone in them pocket, kind of like Jamaica not turn over money. You not turn over money excessively, but a constant flow of money come at Jamaica, you know. And these guys been robbing the money. And so the country find itself now in a dark hole. But things are come to light. Because if you have an election that come up, yeah, and you can't even sweeten the teacher them coffee, they know to say nothing not going for the government, man. The country broke. We are telling them long time, Sir B and Lady Pinkskew. We are telling them long time to the country no problem where the finance is concerned. Andrew them do what them for do with the country money. We see how misappropriate it was used in terms of people like our Trapper John they pay more money our teacher I get. We see some people going for some big position, and then people that was on for some sperm whale a couple of years before. But now them there have some big high capacity and them move millions. So we see the 1.4 billion, yeah, we're gone buy a rotten bus, all outdated bus. When we hear to the bus, them are sell for $1. You understand? So we see what happened to the drill money. Yeah, we see how much money Cornwall Beryllium Hospital absorb from the public purse. But yet still it can't done. So we know them something is fundamentally wrong. That's why Nigel Clark run down, you know. We might have looked at Nigel Clark in a certain capacity where I'm lead. There's something about Nigel Clark whenever, you know, compare and measure up to the rest of them, you know. It's like him that come off a better table than them. It's like them force him to do things, you know, do things that happen. So him just get fed up after the SSL debacle and just decide, say, no, what, me I leave this place. But Nigel Clark should have give it some reason for what going on. Yeah? Give it some reason, because Nigel know everything about Andrew, you know. He know everything about Tufton and them guys that can and the draw a set of man around him, you know. Where at them control Labour Party. And they will all have some little squibbling, because you know Tufton and Andrew are squibbling over the leadership of the party. Yeah? Because themselves are done. Yeah, but Nigel, I believe them, because Nigel knows nothing about there. When Angela told about how much they in the reserve and all them things, I lie Angela tell you. You understand?
Exactly.
What Angela can do is use some money will come in and stop the gap then. That $3 trillion listen, that is a bomb bigger than Hiroshima bomb, but drop and hit Jamaica financial pool as it relates to taxpayers' money gone here while. So now we see the true result of what happened. Teacher can't get paid. Other people are finding it hard to make ends meet, and I yield back the floor.
All right, cool. Yes, thank you, Melting Pot, for that. Now we are going to get into what we call the political war room, because we have seen where, of course, nationwide, right, Amin is pursuing that the People's National Party, right, must not be supported. Basically, that's what he's saying. And that the People's National Party is out to get him, and the People's National Party has been trying to get him over 20 years. And what he's making reference to, right, is bringing back the fight as it relates to PJ Patterson, right, suing him. And so then, to the fact that he mentioned over 20 years, it is telling you that Cliff Hughes as a personal vendetta carrying as a result from the lawsuit that he had gotten from PJ Patterson from ever since, right? And you cannot be a journalist, right? And we are plainly coming out with that, right? Using a reverse psychology, talking about the PNP is trying to get you over 20 years. It is over 20 years you are trying to get to damage the PNP. You have tried it before, and you have tried it on several occasions, right? The amount of lies and propaganda, right? Now, when it is that PNP ever pursue you, apart from, you understand, you told a lie on PJ Patterson, and PJ Patterson lawsuit you, right? Have you seen from that the People's National Party pursuing you? People's National Party have no time to even look at you, right? It is you and your minions, right, saying all the negative things to bring down the People's National Party. But we're glad how you play your hand and show your hand publicly. You understand? So you have now shown yourself to be a biased media outlet, right? And that's who you are. Now, let us show, right, the reason as to why you have the vendetta for the People's National Party. Without any delay, let us lift up that document. Let us show the entire world the belly that you are carrying for PNP, right? And this is a 20-year belly. I want to know how the baby didn't born yet. Now, Cliff used to pay PJ Patterson 12.5 for defamation because you continue to lie, Cliff Hughes. You continue to try to defame the People's National Party and defame PJ, right? And so then, what sort of journalist are you? You being a journalist, you're supposed to be biased and you're supposed to be unbiased, right? You're supposed to be impartial. But here you are, highlighting your biasness, telling people that, okay, I am not really a journalist. I am a JLP operative. That is exactly what you're telling people. You are a JLP operative. Now, Kingston, Jamaica, the Supreme Court has ordered journalist Cliff Hughes to pay former Prime Minister PJ Patterson 12.5 million in damages resulting from a defamation to his character. And let me say this to you again, Cliff Hughes. You are going to get another lawsuit. You'll be getting another lawsuit, so anticipate that. The court made the ruling a short while ago and has awarded interest, which legal watchers have said could take the figure to at least $20 million. This is the bill that you are carrying for PJ Patterson, you know, and the People's National Party. You know, we just show the people them why you are carrying the belly. Patterson not sued Hughes, who heads the news station nationwide in May 2010, claiming he had defamed and seeking millions of dollars in general aggravated and exemplary damages. The claim is related to a news item aired by the station in 2009 because you have to bring down the People's National Party concerning an incident at the Norman Manley International Airport involving a digital charter flight which arrived from Cuba with Patterson. We are showing people the detail, right? So, okay, take it away on it. Now, you think you stop there? You know, stop there, Cliffius. You haven't stopped there. You also now set up a mini and George Davis and others, right? Again, to attack PG Patterson again. And let me say this, you people are going to get another lawsuit. Cliffius, right now as we speak, another lawsuit is shaping up for you. And you are going to get another lawsuit. Now, let me just play how you know, put back yourself in the reserve and you have George Davis, you understand, carrying out your mandate in terms of trying to bring down the People's National Party. No, it is not going to work. And remember, you know, when the People's National Party comes into power, you're going to have to pay up all the tax. And you'll be given them ultimatum. And if you can't pay the tax, it's simple, right? Then you do the time and the fine. You do the time and the fine. As simple as that. So let us get into George Davis, YouTube, and we want to listen to George Davis, what George Davis is saying. And we're going to show the entire public that everything that George Davis said out of his mouth is a dirty lie. Everything that George Davis said out of his mouth is a dirty lie. I want to know why they are working so hard for our next lawsuit. Now listen to this, people. Now listen to this.
I've spoken here already about Mr. Patterson's time in office. He's a cricket man. He loves the cricket analogies. So his time at the wicket. Last week at the summit, he held court as he sought to set the record straight, defending his time in office. And if you weren't here, you would have been led to believe that one of the most successful premierships in Jamaica's political history was underplayed, was overlooked, was vilified in some respects by members of the media, by people who comment today on public affairs. And you've been left wondering, how come this great man and his premiership were not given the regard, certainly, which he gave to it in that speech at the summit. The great thing is, I'm speaking largely to people who were here and who know that what Mr. Percival said to us last week, in the words of, well, one of the favorite words of one of the men who served his cabinet, Keith Desmond Knight, what we heard at the summit was balderdash. The facts don't support the narrative that Mr. Patterson spun. And the thing with Mr. Patterson's premiership is that, you know, I like to quote my favorite rapper in these instances, you know, men lie, women lie, numbers don't, even though men and women lie with numbers. And what he sought to communicate is vastly different from the reality of those 14 years. Now, there's so much to go into where Patterson and his 14 years are concerned or were concerned. Mr. Percival's brand of leadership, in many respects, there are good things to take from it. The way he handled certain ministers. In my view, the highlight of Mr. Percival's 14 years was the liberalization of the telecom sector by one Philip Paulwell. And those close to the action say, well, that was more Paulwell's doing than Mr. Percival. So you should give Paulwell all the credit. Acknowledge that Mr. Percival was the prime minister at the time, but it really was Paulwell's work. And we all know that Philip Paulwell wrung every bit of goodwill out of that liberalization of the telecom sector towel, to the extent that for the many other things that he got up to, there was barely enough of the goodwill left to tide him over. Mr. Percival said, look, when the bad times came, it's youthful exuberance. That was him being grateful to what Paulwell had done for his administration. But that was a highlight for me. And that was hugely significant, is hugely significant in the history. But it's not Mr. Percival's work. It's Philip Paulwell's work. I'll tell you what Mr. Percival's work really is. Before that, he said something in 2003 that I think is at the heart of the problem Mr. Percival is facing at this time. And as I listened to him some weeks ago talking about the country on his watch and how good it was and the backlash that he received, sufficient for them to organize another function for him to set the record straight, I said to myself, you are right in believing what you believed about the problem Mr. Percival has. And here's the problem. 2003, September, the PNP's 65th annual conference. Mr. Percival made a speech, parts of it which will go down in the history of the politics in this country. And in that speech was transmitted the real problem Mr. Percival had then and still has now. Here's what he said. Every leader has a different style, and my style is this style, he told conference in 2003. I am a humble man, and I will always be to my dying day. Blood runs through my veins like everybody else's, but I know that I have never got the respect where respect is due for the things that I have done. He said, I have built more highways than anybody else. I have done more to reduce poverty than everybody else. More people have running water. More people stop use kerosene. More people have electricity. More people have telephone. And more men have gal than at any time else, said our Prime Minister in 2003. So part of his legacy as he wound down his premiership was that under his leadership, more men in Jamaica have gal. Yeah, that didn't go down well at the time. It is funny now rather than being crass, but that was Mr. Percival speaking. It wasn't the gal aspect. Well, we were caught up in that at the time. I remember the country was. But the more significant point Mr. Percival was making was that he didn't feel as if he had the respect he certainly thinks he deserves. And that's the problem. Mr. Percival has long been jealous of the adoration and adulation that the comrades give to Joshua. The love of Michael Manley and for Michael Manley and justified Michael Manley is one of the great Jamaicans. Yes, I never said perfect. Great Jamaicans, there is no doubt about that. Percival James Patterson wants to be like that. In fact, if you listen to the PNP bigwigs speak, and especially during campaign time when they're doing their set piece presentations, it's almost obligatory to have a quote or three from Joshua in your speech. It's not complete without it. Nobody quotes PJ Patterson. Nobody quotes PJ Patterson. The comrades don't. And so I find it curious that the respect that not even the comrades have for you, Mr. Percival, you want the Jamaican public to then accord you that. On what basis, I don't know. Your tenure, your premiership was such that you are barely mentioned. Mrs. Simpson Miller gets adoration and adulation. She gets copious amounts of it. You, on the other hand, longest serving, won more elections than anybody else, and done all the great things you say you did, and yet still you fall short of the adulation and adoration measures, which is why it's so curious that a PNP hierarchy that quite rightly avoids mentioning the Patterson years, avoids mentioning what Mr. Percival did at the wicket, now brings him back to boost its election campaign. So apart from feeling unappreciated and being unappreciated within the walls of his own party, Mr. Percival is now appealing to Jamaica to give him the love that not even comrades are giving him. I'll tell you how we remember you, Mr. Percival. And there are so many numbers to use. You will be remembered as the Prime Minister who heaped more debt on the back of every Jamaican man, woman, and child than every Prime Minister before you and every Prime Minister since. You will be remembered as the man who, when 1992 ran its course and that year finished, the public debt was about $60 billion. By November 2005, 4 months before you left office, Mr. Percival, that 60 billion debt that you left us, that you started with in 1992, had swollen to 830 billion by November 2005. That's how we will remember you, Mr. Percival, as the debt Prime Minister. We'll also remember you, Mr. Percival, as the murder Prime Minister, because it was on your watch that we hit murders 1,000 for the year for the first time and sustained it. 1992, 629 murders. 93.
Take him away. That's why we are in social media. That's why we are here. And that is one of the reasons why NNN, right, is going to get more lawsuit because of the lies and the venom, the poison that you continue to spew in the public airspace. Let us begin with the first lie you told as it relates to that PJ Patterson get no love from the comrades, right? And none of the comrades admired PJ Patterson. They don't quote PJ Patterson. Let us begin with that first lie. Now, follow me. Draws Davis. Let me show you, right? Oh, PJ Patterson outstandingly, right? I mean, awesomely received, and its leadership was highlighted and illuminated. Let me show you the lie that you told. Let us go to this document. Prime Minister received awards for outstanding leadership to show you that you're an old dirty liar. Now let us big it up for the people to show you, right? Where is the evidence? You didn't do this research. Here it is. Here it is. Prime Minister PJ Patterson has been recognized by the World Federation of Councils. You hear that? Draws Davis. You hear that? And the Consular Corps of Jamaica for its outstanding leadership of a Jamaican and Caribbean causes in the international arena. He was presented with the FedCat Gold Star Award by the Honorable Wem Boa, Director of the World Federation of Councils, as well as Lignum Vitae Award by the Honorable Arnold Foote, Dean of the Consular Corps of Jamaica. The presentation was made by Mr. Patterson at the annual awards function of the Consular Corps of Jamaica on Thursday, December 2nd. In his address, Prime Minister Patterson disclosed that Jamaica would share the group of 77 nations and China G77 as of January next year, and will therefore preside over the second summit of the G77 to be held at their quarter during the second quarter of 2005. This will add to the country's repertoire of international leadership. You hear that, George Davis? As Jamaica is the current chair of the African, Caribbean, and Pacific group. You want to try to tone down the man thing? You dirty liar. You want confused? Mr. Patterson said the Consular Corps of Jamaica have played a special role in the evaluation of the country's international relationships, especially as it relates to the changes which those relationships have undergone in recent years. He noted Jamaica's status and recognition in international fora, including United Nations and its agencies, the UN Security Council, the Commonwealth, and the African, Caribbean, and Pacific group of countries. Andrew, when it can get them recognition, yeah? Okay, let us pause this now and come back, because we have to get to something, the thing start.
Yeah.
Okay, since the press conference start, let us just get to that. Right, let us pause that for now, and we are going to come back to that. We are going to deal with them.
Okay, 1 second. Let's stop share. Let me just go to the press conference.
Fully prepared and expect that everything that is you, that's on the 12th of August, we launched our manifesto, a manifesto crafted for the people, with love for the people. Jamaica as our mission, but a mission which reflects love, because people are at the center of it. I don't think that the government liked it much, but I think they were also shocked by the boldness and the confidence in which we articulated our plans. So I gather that on Sunday night, they have decided to do something which they consider to be unique, never done before, in the country, in another parish apart from Kingston. persons who are their very die-hard base, their own supporters, not a manifesto for the people of Jamaica, but a manifesto which is to be delivered to their supporters at a mass rally. They think that is something bold. I think that it reflects who they are. We of the People's National Party are committed to building a Jamaica that works for all of us and not just for a few. And our manifesto reflects that. We will very shortly be also launching what we call a manifesto light, which is really ideas which we are taking from our present manifesto. But there are some which we will be introducing for the first time, simply because we know that those who accuse you of copying and pasting do so because they are experts at it. We have had this experience before. It is not a new thing. We have heard ideas articulated by one of our spokespersons, Damian Crawford, who suggested that the GCT on electricity should be removed or lowered for certain sets of persons. And it was scoffed at by no less a person than the Minister of Finance himself, only to see it being implemented. We recommended that GCT should be reduced. Again, we were ridiculed, and then it was implemented. So we are accustomed to it. We're accustomed to putting forward our ideas and having them taken. Indeed, the Prime Minister has boasted that he's ready to be everybody's baby father. He will take your ideas and he will implement it. So personally, I don't understand the excitement, which is now being demonstrated by the campaign committee. There is a history and a track record. You know, what is fascinating is that for the last 19 years, Jamaica has been led for 15 of those years by a Jlp government. They have a right to delay launching a manifesto because what they have projected to the country is failed promises. We're going to have fixed election dates within 100 days. We're going to have term limits within 100 days. We're going to have new cities. Portmore is going to be a Silicon Valley. We're going to have a new city in Trelawney, a new city in Negril. They're going to stop taking the $11.4 billion from the National Housing Trust, which every year they're going to build 700,000 houses. They're going to build 1,000 social houses, all failed promises. How can you actually go to the people with a manifesto when the people will judge you and say those promises have been made? Over the last 15 years, we have heard them, and we don't want to hear any more promises. But let me have you hear from Cleveland Tomlinson, who is one of the bright sparks in our party. We promote young people, and we are going to introduce to you now Cleveland Tomlinson.
Thank you, Mrs. Scott Motley. There have been some unsettling developments throughout the political campaign, and that's a pretext for us to hear. But before I address one of the most significant unsettling developments, I want to use the opportunity to respond to some critiques that we have heard from the Jamaica Labour Party. The other day, they gathered to criticize our manifesto, and I listened keenly to the substantive nature of the criticisms. In struggling to make a substantive critique, they resorted to saying, on one hand, that our arguments, our policies, our proposals were AI generated. They also said that they were not feasible and they cannot be done. And then on the other hand, they said that our proposals are really a continuation of what they are doing. So I've been saying to myself, they need to decide which narrative they're going to put in the public domain. It's either our policies are not feasible or they are a continuation of what they're doing. But both cannot coexist. So you need to huddle somewhere to decide the narrative that you're going to put out with respect to our manifesto. With respect to the political debates, there will be 3 political debates, the first of which will begin tomorrow, the social debates. The 2 parties are heading into that debate. One party has launched its manifesto. The other party, the public is yet to see what the plans and proposals are for the Jamaican people over the next 5 years. We think that this is woefully unacceptable. A debate is an opportunity to compare policy prescriptions and ideas. The Jamaican people will be wrong is woefully unacceptable. A debate is an opportunity to compare policy prescriptions.
They're having internet issues, guys.
Should we just do that whole program,
And ideas. The Jamaican people will be robbed in Jamaica. They answer the critical questions with respect to the specifics about their plans for the next 5 years, about how Jamaicans, majority of Jamaicans, will be able to afford affordable housing, about land reform. So we reject this sort of development, that we're heading into the first of 3 political debates without the opportunity to assess the manifesto, the policy prescriptions, and the proposals from the Jamaica Labour Party. And what it does on their side, it will simply reduce the debate to a debate of theater. Because what they will be talking about are words put together without any substantive, well-structured policy prescription that journalists and members of the public can critically assess. That can never be accepted in a mature democracy and can never be accepted of a political party that is seeking to run the country for another 5 years. So we say shame on the Jamaica Labour Party. And this way, the way that they regard to be revolutionary, unique, to launch their manifesto at a rally, I don't see any uniqueness in that. I don't see the revolutionary nature of that. The manifesto should have been made available for the public to assess. So we say that that is not an appropriate development for a party that is seeking to run the country for another 5 years. At this time, I'll hand over to Raymond Price.
In addition to the points already so ably made by Comrade Scott Motley and Comrade Tomlinson, I'd like to emphasize the following. You know, the problem the Jamaica Labour Party has with a manifesto being released in the day and to the full public is emblematic of the fact that for the 9 years they've been in office, the 9 consecutive years, what they should be speaking about are manifestations. The absence of manifestations that positively inure to the country's development is one of the reasons why they have, as Cleveland points out, first accused us of using artificial intelligence to generate a manifesto, and then in the next breath accusing us of plagiarism. Well, I can refute the suggestion that we've cut and paste, because we certainly have not cut from Tufton's record any intention, as we drill down to the details, to inflate at $31 million to the public purse an item, a tool that cost less than $2 million. Intention, as we drill down to the details, to inflate at $31 million to the public purse an item, a tool that cost less than $2 million. We
we are experiencing some technical difficulties.
Not we are, they are.
They are.
They're
Right. So we are just waiting to see what is
Have no
happening.
intention to, nor have we cut. Say that student goes to school 5 days per week. That's $50 one way, $50 the other way. $100 a day, $500 a week. In 4 weeks in September, that would be $2,000. And in 4 weeks in October, that would be another $2,000. So the great promise to enhance the ability for tertiary students to achieve their education targets is to give them the grand total of 4,000 Jamaican dollars over 2 months. On the other hand, if that student is the first in their family to matriculate at a tertiary institution, they'll be given an entire scholarship for the duration of their pursuit of their degree. If that student is from an area or studying in an area that the government identifies as critical to national development, there will be further waivers and further grants and bursaries to which they have access. If they are not in the first from their family and have to go through the student's loan, if they are teachers, but
goodness.
I don't understand when GLP having their thing in a drone.
Every year they remain in the public sector teaching Jamaican students here in Jamaica, their students' loan will be waived, discounted over the life of their service to the country. They may end up having a scholarship in the sense that they will not have to repay a loan. And on the other hand, the Jamaica Labour Party has been making some claims. Through a former Senator Marlon Morgan, now that Parliament has been dissolved, is the claim that we are pushing violence. It was not the People's National Party who encamped at the access point to Kling Kling and kept our representative, Paul Buchanan, in a state of inability to move freely while he campaigned. It was not the Jamaica Labour Party who blocked Patrick Peterkin from being able to get to the nomination center, causing him to have to get there via a bike. And let us speak about what is happening at the FLA, the Firearms Licensing Authority, where a former JLP councillor, Shane Darling, has pursued a questionable set of actions where persons are being targeted to hand over their weapons without any proof of breaches to the Firearms Licensing Act or any regulations connected to those. In my own constituency of East Central St. Catherine, we have provided locator pins and pictures of where our paraphernalia has been destroyed. We have also provided videos of persons clad in JLP paraphernalia removing PNP poster boards. And I make the point to say, as someone who grew up with him granny, those who play victim and then cry wolf are among the most dangerous in society. And we use this opportunity to remind the Jamaica Labour Party that Jamaica continues to be a country that honors our democratic traditions. There are two main political parties in this race, and the People's National Party not only intends to campaign robustly and lawfully. At the end of the campaign, we intend to be declared the victors in a majority of constituencies, and that will herald in the start of the Mark Golding administration.
Thank you, Raymond. I want to address one issue which has been personally very disturbing to me. And it is the allegation that the People's National Party has blacklisted journalists. I want to say to those journalists who are here present and those who will be listening to this feed that we have the highest regard for that profession, and we expect them to maintain very high standards. The fact that this matter was made public was another concern I had, because both political parties were asked to keep confidential any such issues which were discussed within the commission. And from all accounts, Abka Fitzhenley, former senator, gave an interview to the Observer in which he made public the views which were discussed and which were held. That is wrong. And the journalistic profession ought to be very concerned about that breach. Going forward in the debates, it's very important that all the journalists who participate are seen as being credible professionals. Now, we did not blacklist, but we did object very strenuously to the participation of persons from a particular media house. And it is no secret which media house that would be. If you have the head of a media house inviting persons within the party to box down their general secretary, you have to wonder what would motivate not that comment and the viciousness behind it. Indeed, he was prompted to come back on air to apologize for his unseemly remarks. That same person has made unsubstantiated allegations accusing the People's National Party of shooting up their headquarters. That should be condemned. We have had journalists, we have had persons from that network who have berated a former prime minister and who have disclosed, quite frankly, their political bias. I think the People's National Party is well within its right to question the integrity of such persons within a debate. I myself have had personal experience of the unprofessional nature of their relationship to the People's National Party. And I think that most of us, members of the PNP, have had it. Now, in my view, the People's National Party is absolutely correct to ask that there be a level of objectivity which is brought into such a debate. And that is all that we did. The JLP objected to some of our finest journalists, journalists who have distinguished themselves to the point where PNP people say they're Labourite and Labourite say they are PNP. That for me is really a mark of, it's a testimony to how they do their work, that each side is equally dissatisfied with the level of objectivity which they bring to the debate. And I could not allow this moment to pass without pointing that out.
Thank you, Comrade Scott Motley. At the press conference, the Jamaica Labour Party questioned and made untruthful comments.
Then there's the JLP internet go.
Another internet issue there. So we have to just wait until.
So the internet allergic to the word JLP then.
You see that screen? I am somewhat suspicious. I don't want, this is just my subjective opinion. If you notice, whenever the GLP has their thing, it just
about the funding conference shortly after the leaders' budget presentation in March with respect to how we are going to fund our proposals. I want to budget presentation in March with respect to how we are going to fund our proposals. I want to establish from the outset that the PNP is committed to fiscal discipline, fiscal responsibility, living within our means, because we were the ones who strengthened in our last administration the fiscal rules We restored stability in the fiscal rules. We restored stability in the macroeconomy. Recall, in 2012, when the PNP came to office, the economy was on the precipice of a collapse. We had destroyed our relationship with the international financial community, largely an outcome of how badly the Jamaica Labour Party administration that preceded us dealt with the relationship with the IMF. We were the ones who amended the fiscal rules, and we are committed to the downward trajectory of the debt. We are committed to fiscal discipline. How are we going to fund our plans? If you examine the national budget, it has two broad components. You have debt servicing expenditure, that's roughly $340 billion. That's the amount that goes towards amortization and interest payment. That is non-discretionary. If debt is due in the year, you must service the debt. Then you have the second component, which is non-debt expenditure.
All right. You know, when we are speaking the truth now and telling people that, okay, all right, we are the party that is responsible for fiscal discipline, right? And so then in terms of, there you have it, right, from our comrade candidate, is telling the Jamaican people that it is
determines will happen in the fiscal year. The government has full latitude to determine what programs it finances. If the government has the latitude to determine which program it finances, it simply means that this component of the budget can be regarded as discretionary expenditure because the government has the discretion. It has always been so that this component of the budget is regarded to be discretionary expenditure. So when I heard the minister the other day talking about there's no discretionary portion of the budget, nobody in the PNP said that there was a line item in the budget called discretionary expenditure. We never had any pro box moment. We don't do that on our side. We said that.
Exactly. And all the Jamaican
pro box moment.
Portion of the budget is regarded to be discretionary.
Yes, definitely we are having some problem because we are speaking the truth.
Expenditure. And that is the portion of the budget that will finance.
Okay, so there it is. And it is not like these people are moving out of a particular zone as it relates to the Wi-Fi strength. You're seeing that they're static in their area, so I don't know why the Wi-Fi is just up and down just like that, right?
And
anyway,
I think they're by the HQ, you know.
Yes.
The press conference is by the HQ.
Okay.
On Hope Road there.
But I glad Spinks that he's mentioning, right, as it relates to how the People's National Party bring back the economy and
programs. Because one can reasonably understand to the tune of 140 billion of 140.
Yeah, we have Portia Simpson had brought back the economy, right, and gave Andrew Holness a red carpet to walk on as it relates to the economy. Right?
Exactly.
Andrew Holness, right, was under a solid economy. And look what happened now, right? Andrew Holness have to be coming out, right, using his extended arm to influence, like the PIOJ, the Planning Institute of Jamaica.
$40 billion. That will be available, ceteris paribus, meaning holding all other things fixed. That will be. So the downward movement of the debt is largely an outcome of the reform that the PNP put in place. The Jamaica Labour Party didn't have a choice. It's legally binding. It's not optional. Party didn't have a choice. It's legally binding. It's not optional. Any government, PNP or JLP, would have to structure the budget in such a way that the primary and fiscal balance that is derived brings down the debt year over year, so much so that it should reach 60% of GDP by 2027, 2028. So when I hear them talking about we have brought down the debt, as if it's an ingenuity on their part, as if they're some economic genius,
because they have been able to bring down the debt. What they should tell the people is that they were legally forced to do it because of the law that the People's National Party put in place in 2014.
Thank you.
So when the
Thank
debt
you.
reaches 60% of GDP, per the fiscal rules, with balance, it simply creates more fiscal space for the government. And through the creation of that fiscal space, we'll have more revenue room to finance our programs. So we have fully costed our programs and our policy prescriptions, and we will not wreck the country because we were the ones who rescued the country after they wrecked it between 2007 and 2011.
Johnny's vehicle driving past my house now. You might hear the PNP song in the background. Johnny's vehicle turn up the thing.
Exactly. You know, I'm glad, Springs, that this is coming out, to inform the masses.
That they have set to have been
Exactly.
met, such as for a specified period then to extract from the National Housing Trust roughly a year to assist with the recurring expenditure as well as paying public sector salaries. The then government was taken to court by the then Jamaica Labour Party-led opposition. They've been in government now for 9 years, and each of those years, they have continued to extract from the National Housing Trust this $11 billion plus. That has so constrained the NHT that it has been unable to provide the low-income housing that it has been mandated by law when it was established in the 1970s to provide. The Mark Golding administration will stop that extraction of $11 billion annually from the National Housing Trust, which will be able to finance our target of 50,000 low-income housing solutions across the 14 parishes, which works out to roughly 600 to 700 houses per constituency over those 5 years. It is important to recall that during previous times in office, it was the People's National Party that has always responded through what we
So much interruptions.
love to proclaim as providing land for the landless and housing for the homeless. When you look at Portmore, I could not go back to East Central St. Catherine if I did not make recognition of Cedar Grove, Silverstone, Portmore Pines, Morris Meadows, Meadowvale, Surrey Meadows, Caymanna Site A, Caymanna Site D, and Hamilton Gardens, all established during the tenure of respective and successful People's National Party administrations. And it's not limited to Portmore. There are not far from this headquarters, Pines of Karachi, Long Mountain, and there is Mona, there is Harborview. So our record on housing propels us to be able to make the commitments that when we are returned to office, we will pick up the slack and go further ahead in providing this critical asset which transforms Jamaicans from welfare to well-being and from well-being to wealth creation through the provision of titles for the lands they've lived on and through facilities such as the rent-to-own program, such as the paying or waiving rather of the closing fees and related costs for young professionals to purchase their first home, that we are able to continue to commit to providing homes for Jamaican families and communities in which those families can live safely and enjoy a quality of life in the land of their birth. All of which, by the way, have not been achieved during these 9 years. And I could ask it this way to each of you watching with just a quip. how many Jamaicans presently sleep with their windows and doors open?
Thank you. We will have an open microphone for the press, but I'd just like to make two small corrections. One, during Mrs. Scott Motley's presentation, she said 700,000 houses were promised. It was in fact 70,000. And during Mr. Price's presentation, he said the JLP was not responsible for pinning down our candidate in West Central last night. It was in fact the JLP that was responsible for that. I'm sure.
And thank you very much for that
I'm
correction.
sure.
You know that I'm very sensitive about anything which seems as though I'm trying to mislead anybody.
I know. Would anybody present? Any questions? Any questions? What about oh, thank you.
Good afternoon. Carla Ramlin from CVM TV. To Mrs. Donna Scott Montley, you announced that there will be a manifesto light. When will that be released? And also, why wasn't this information put in the manifesto? So what you have for the manifesto light, and why wasn't that put in the manifesto?
At the very launch of the manifesto, we made it absolutely clear that there was going to be another document which would be presented. We did indicate that we would make the presentation so soon as the Jamaica Labour Party stated when it would launch its manifesto. Accordingly, on Monday morning at a press conference, we will be sharing our manifesto light with the public and with the press. Our manifesto light will highlight the plans which we intend to implement, the promises which are not going to be empty promises, but promises which we will keep, which will enhance the lives of every Jamaican. We have taken into concern the youth. We have plans for the aged. We have plans for pensioners, because we're looking at the society as a whole of society. We have plans which are inclusive of marginalized groups, because we know the only way that we can truly prosper as a nation is if everybody feels that they have a stake in the future of Jamaica. And that is why, for example, we have stated that our constitutional reform program, we are going to go back out to consult with the people as to some of the views which they have expressed, because we feel that a constitution must reflect the strongest desires and aspirations of the country. And we can't sit in an office and determine what those will be.
The Jamaica Labour Party has attempted to make heavy weather because of our publication or intended publication of the manifesto light. High school students of literature will understand that you buy the substantive text, for example, To Kill a Mockingbird, and you buy the cliff notes, which is a quick, at-ease reference wherein you can get to more salient aspects of the substantive text in a manner that relates to you. Since our launch on Tuesday, for example, as I walk through my constituency, retired persons have said, when I scan this, take me straight, reference to the QR code, take me straight to the section that speaks about retired people who still have some amount of their mortgage to complete, but they are now on a fixed or diminishing income, diminishing because of the erosion of purchasing power. When you interact with police officers, they are saying, just show me straight where we speak to the police. And then I explain to them that, among other things, their overtime will not be taxed as part of their salary. When you speak about retaining teachers, that teacher, so anxious already by 9 years of disrespect and underperformance from the Holness administration, wants to be able to go straight, again, if you will, to the Cliff Notes, the section of the Manifesto Light that speaks directly to them and how the People's National Party in the first term of the Mark Golding administration will resolve those tensions and those outstanding issues. So if there was really a claim of a unique approach to the launch of the manifesto, well, this is the manifestation of that innovation, not the attempt through leaflets in the dark among just your party base in some sharp square, as historic as that square is, to then throw out a manifesto. And just quickly, you know what I found interesting from that remark by Kamina Johnson-Smith is her description of the need for a supplementary as a confirmation of the failure of the first document. How many supplementary budgets have been presented by the ministers of finance during this 9 years of the Holness administration? I applaud you, Kamina, for finally confirming that the substantive budgets presented ahead of each supplementary budget is a confirmation that the substantive budget was a failure.
Are there any questions online? Any questions
So
online?
while you check the questions online, I have to say, I just want to speak very briefly about the school bus, the rural school bus system.
Oh, yes.
Yesterday, I was reading a remark made by the Deputy Prime Minister, Horace Chang. And for a moment, I thought he was actually speaking about the buses, because he was speaking in such a condemnatory term about donations which were made of reconditioned items. And there was no proper, they broke down within 3 months. There was no system for maintenance. There were no persons who could repair it. And I said, oops, so the cabinet didn't approve the school bus. Because the very criticisms which he made about the donation to Glendevon, I think it was, Glendevon Primary School, are the criticisms which one could make of this rural school bus system. Let me make it clear. I support a rural school bus system. A pilot was implemented in Clarendon in 2013. It was implemented out of the People's National Party's concern for the safety of children. It was stopped in 2020 under the Jamaica Labour Party. So I want to put that context there. But I have to ask myself some serious questions about a spend of $1.4 billion on reconditioned old school buses for children. I have a brother who actually worked in the system in Florida. And he happened to be in Jamaica when we were discussing it. And he said, but that's a major spend. Usually we just send them to auction, ask a little bit of money. Usually it is third world countries who purchase them. But to retrofit them for Jamaica is going to be a considerable expense. You actually have to cut those buses and do work on them to make sure that they are fit for use in Jamaica. We have already seen the accidents. We know what will happen. In addition to $1.4 billion, there's $25 million, which the minister already had to spend on ordering new tires. So I want to make it clear that this is not the only person who has bad mind is the person who ordered the buses. Because it would be bad mind. In the same way Minister Chang spoke about the equipment yesterday, disparagingly of anybody who would do something like that. I said, Minister Chang, speak to your own, cast them out of your own eye before you look at anybody else's. So if there are no further questions, I want to thank you all. Those persons who are online who have been messaging me while the discussion has taken place, I want to thank you for having participated.
In wrapping up, just to say there are no further questions online, but just would like to remind the media that our manifesto light will be launched on Monday morning. It is not a supplementary document. It is a document, a companion document. It is the main document, which is called the manifesto, is about 70 pages, and the manifesto light is a page. So that could never supplement, one could never supplement the other. It is a companion document which will be an easier read for the majority of our people. Thank you very much. See you all in Mandeville on Sunday evening, where we will have the first of 2 mass meetings, and then see you again on Monday morning. Thank you.
And please listen to the debates on Saturday night, our first social debate, where we will be prepared to answer questions about our manifesto, even while the press will be unable to ask any questions about the manifesto of the Jamaica Labour Party. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. But we had just learned something. And let me tell you something. This is not going to be pretty for Darrell Vaz. Not going to be pretty for Darrell Vaz at all. Right? Because what we are getting from the information, let me say this. If the cabinet did not approve Darrell Vaz, trust me, you're in serious conundrum. Serious conundrum. So let me just catch it right there in terms of what we just heard, because this is unbelievable. And let me get back now to Mr. Draws Davis, right? And get back where the outstanding former Prime Minister, P.J. Patterson, right? Who have been praised, who have been highly praised as it relates as it relates to, you know, what Draws Davis is saying, contrary to what Draws Davis is saying. So we will begin as it relates to where we left off, right? He observed that council representatives would have an expanding role in facilitating enhanced opportunities for trade and business ventures across the region when the Caribbean single market in fully established in 2006. The initial phase of the CSME will be implemented between Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago on January 5 next year. In presenting the award to the Prime Minister, Dean of the Council of Corps, Mr. Arnold Foote, said Mr. Patterson was, listen now, Mr. Patterson was a great Jamaican and an outstanding Caribbean son who has had a hand in shaping the destiny of the Caribbean people, not only Jamaica. Not only Jamaica. So Draws Davis, trust me, you are totally out of order. Totally out of order and rude. He said Mr. Patterson was widely respected for his preference of conciliation over confrontation, adding that those were skills that have served him well, as even in a radical changing world, he has continued to tend the flickering flames of collectivism and cooperation. So I thank that we have that to share. Now, Draws Davis, you claim that when P.J. Patterson left, right, he left $40 billion in debt, right? And by time, within the next 2 years, the debt plummeted to such and such and such. It goes to show you, you're continuing propaganda without doing your research. Let me give you now the letter of the day that you need to have to share. You understand? And I want you to share, right, with the world because of your propaganda. Now, let us give you the letter of the day where, of course, we are going to share with the world the letter of the day in telling you, Mr. Draws Davis, that when P.J. Patterson left, right, when P.J. Patterson demitted office, guess what? We owe IMF $0. Letter of the day, IMF, no panacea for Jamaica's economic woes. Where are you, Draws Davis? Now, in 1995, Prime Minister P.J. Patterson unceremoniously waved goodbye. Ta-ta! Au revoir to the board of the International Monetary Fund as its administration ended the country's relationship with the fund. Now, any other member of parliament, as it relates to in the GLP, has ever done this? You need to know your place, Draws Davis. You and Big Ma and your other minions, over 20 years you try to bring down the People's National Party. You can't bring down the People's National Party. And by so doing in terms of your propaganda, you are only wrecking yourselves. Because the fact of the matter, you are anticipating that People's National Party will be coming in power, will be taking over the reins of government. And that is why, right, you guys are fretting. Because number one, you guys will be out of a job. The fact of the matter, if you cannot pay, right, pay up your tax that you owe, $1.8 billion, that you, because this is the answers that you people want, you know, right? You want to be continue, right, to collect, right, taxes from your employees, but at the same time you're not paying them over, and so then that is the problem. We have seen where, of course, the Jamaica kleptocratic government, right, had totally bypassed your debt, right, more than 9 times. So just look at that, where you should be disciplined. You should be disciplined, right? So this is what we are talking about, that the kleptocratic government, right, love that sort of operation, because the kleptocratic government also, right, deferred on their taxes. And you only specifically deferred on its taxes, right? And so then you love this. And you love the level of criminality that is going on, right, within the Jamaica Labour Party as it relates to the breaching of procurement rules and all them things there. You love when a kleptocratic government perform, because guess what? At the end of the day, you are involved in the level of criminality as well. Considerable difficulties. It seems as a current twist of fate that in 2012, the current PNP administration is having considerable difficulties with inking a new agreement with the lending agency. And why did we have to go back there? Let us explain. Why did we have to go back there? Because after P.J. Patterson handed over the economy to Bruce Golding, what Bruce Golding did, if many people don't know, it is Bruce Golding that sold out most of Jamaican assets. Air Jamaica, right? Several other entities, right? That Bruce Golding administration had sold out our assets, and then, right, totally fall out of grace with the IMF. And so then Jamaica was now facing what you call an economic abyss. And so then now it bends down Portia Simpson now has to go back there to show you how dangerous the Jamaica Labour Party is. How dangerous the Jamaica Labour Party is. Now I want to, again, address the situation. You speak about crime, and you stated that P.J. Patterson rule under administration that carry, right, the most, number 3. And you said that P.J. Patterson is a person who is responsible, right, for most Jamaican as it relates to the murder rate, right, which is a lie, which we are going to prove today to you and to show you who carried the murder that I number as it relates to number 3. So let's get into that, and then we bring in the panel. We only going on everything what you're saying now, where you accuse PJ Patterson final, right? We only show the people that you are all liar. right? And your station is not a credible station. And let me say, no one should be listening to you guys. All the persons who listen to a NNN are persons who like fake news. If you like fake news, go and listen to NNN because they are not a credible station, point blank and period. Now, let us show that you are not a credible station because you facilitate, right, a George Davis to be telling lies. So let us now bring figures to George Davis. Let us get into the Jamaica Constabulary Force statistics. We are bringing evidence to you, George Davis. Let us get into the evidence to show you George Davis, right? We are going to bring up, see there, George Davis. This is the Jamaica Constabulary Force crime statistics, you know. Right? So you can't say a lie me are telling the Jamaica, right? Jamaica Constabulary Force crime statistics. Okay. Let us get into that, and we're going to show the evidence here. We're going to show the evidence. Now, look at these people. PJ Patterson reign in power is between 1992 to 2006. People can Google that. Right? Let us go to the crime figure now, right, as it relates to what George Davis said. Let us go to 1996 to 2002. And I want people to take out them calculator. Jamaican people want them to take out a calculator. Right? Want them to take out a calculator. And we have to show George Davis said. You understand? He's a vicious liar. And NNN doesn't stop from spreading propaganda. Who want to listen to an NNN? Knowing to the fact that when you finish, you're not going to get the truth. And you're not getting the truth. No. People, want to check with me. 1992. Remember, I said PJ Patterson in power, 1992 to 2006. Right? 629. More want people to check with me now. 654, 690, 780, 925, 1038, 953, 849, 887, 1139, and let we say 2006, right? 1471, 2005, 1674, and 2006 we stop it here. So 1340. Now, when you check up that, people, you are going to get 1552. Sorry, people. You are going to get 15,052. When you check up all of that, when you compute all of that, you are going to get 15,052 for the third term that PJ Patterson sit at the end. Third term. No, for the three terms. For the three terms, 15,052. You know what this now, people? Let us go to Andrew Holness. Let us go to Andrew Holness. Andrew Holness in power, right, from 2016 onwards. I want you to check 1,354, right? 1,647, 1,287, 1,339, 1,323, and where they stop it, right, of the figure, because I have the figure in the people. They stop it to show you the corruption. They don't list it. See there, 2021, they don't list it any at all, but I have the figure. So let us go back to where they stop it, 2021, right? So 2021, 1,323. Now 2021, why didn't they stop it? Because the murder rate was 1,474. Right? 2022, 1,498. And 2024, right? 1,141. When you check that, right, what we have we have 5,531, right? Sorry, when we check that, we have 11,063. Sorry, my bad. When you check that, you have 11,063. So let me repeat it again. Let me repeat. PJ Patterson has 15,000, Jesus, 15,052, right? For 3 terms. Andrew Holness for 2 terms has 11,063. When we divide PJ Patterson term by 3, because 3 terms, we get 5,170. Right? 5,070. When we divide 11,063 by 2 people, we get 5,531. Take that away. So tell us, George Davis, who has the most number 3 under their administration? Talk to us. Talk to us, Davis. Because guess what? You do your research. You just run out, you just jump out because that's who you are. That's who you are. Know that the evidence is there. I am telling you, George Davis, go and do your calculation unless you can do maths. Unless you can do maths, because we realize, you know, many of you over the Jamaica Labour Party, you know, right? Can't do maths, you know. Because remember, you people work magic over the GLP that want to get $70 out of $10. You know? We witness that. So obviously, you have been affected by the very same thing, George Davis. To want to give PJ Patterson that, where you have the total number 3 as a result of the three terms, PJ Patterson amassed 15,052. And for Andrew Holness, 2 terms, 11,063. When you divide the 3 terms by 3, what you get? 5,017 per term as it relates to PJ Patterson. In comparison to Andrew Holness, per term, when you divide that by 2, you get 5,531. So let me ask you, you didn't do this math. Did you do this research? Eh? You didn't do this research. And that is one of the reasons why people make you look good, extremely good. So let me go to the panel. All right. Now, opening batsman. Take it away.
Well, you have so much topic in which one you want? You have so much topic where you want me to start from the George Davis.
George Davis. Draw down with George Davis.
Well, you see that George Davis case right now, not only we find him, you know, I deal with a vendetta, but a malicious vendetta against the People's National Party and the Prime Minister, PJ Patterson. Serious malicious vendetta him have. Yeah, you can't just classify anything as a vendetta. You have to upgrade it. Very serious malicious vendetta. Because him discredit the man in every aspect of the man time as Prime Minister. But we see where overseas official, you know, big up the man and make mention of him being a great man.
Exactly.
You understand? So where is this crediting coming from? Why? Is it that George Davis cannot see or him cannot hear the good work of PJ Patterson and how it's widely acclaimed by international counterpart and regional counterpart? Remember, this man represents a lot of, you know, agency, so to speak, government agency. And he represents them with high moral and quality. You understand? When you look at even completely walking away from the International Monetary Fund in 1995, that is a great achievement, because that showed Jamaica said we're debt free to international lending agents. And then what happened? By 2012, Mama pay a fair crawl on her knee. 17 years time, we're going back on our knees. You understand? So if George Davis can recognize all those great achievements by the People's National Party during the time of PJ Patterson, then him nothing in at the position as a journalist. And we need to weed out them people there, you know. Them people that will lose them journalism license, stop practice altogether. Because them spew is lies and propaganda. And them make mischief in a society and them, you know, go after individual who them target and who them like. And them go after them in such a manner is just what I said, malicious vendetta. We hear Big Mama tell people, so them forget Dr. Dayton Campbell boxing and face, all them type of behavior there. Eh? We know what them go on within the stage.
Oh, what happened to us?
Well, it seems like melting pot internet is acting up. So Sphinx, Sphinx in right. Yeah, he's back.
You understand? We know about everything what them go on with. Real royal cybercrime. Them stage that. You understand? We know some man with briefcase get shot because the man a come out of a place where it's not a bank. Robber not just thief paper. Who the paper them have interest with? The Jamaica Labour Party. Them want to know where in that briefcase. Because them have serious charge coming them way. So them send man go fire shot and grab briefcase. This government is a disgrace. And we know fully well say Big Mama Mouthpiece radio station is behind all of this. All of them inside that little artery. This is how them work. Them formulate things and then report upon it inaccurately. Tell lie. But them can't cover them track. Because when you have a document like what you're just sharing us, it proves to the entire Jamaica and the world that them people are garbage and they must be charged. Because here it is, you know, we have a situation in our country, you know, where the country strapped for cash, a diaspora can hold it up. But yet still the Prime Minister not pay none, Big Mama not pay none, and several more and colleagues are not paying any tax. Then what run a country is tax. So when we are sure the Jamaican people and the poor people say, Andrew Holness government is not for them, they need to realize because all the tax burden was placed on the poor. Look how much increase them get off a rum and cigarette. Who consume that the most? The youth them when have nothing to do have to hold a vibes, to calm their nerves, to hold a steady medi. Them go after them little system there. Yeah, because them is a kleptocratic government. So we are asking Jamaican people, just realize, man, and put the partisan thing aside, man. Look toward the future. It have to be in the hands of a real government, not a playboy government. Andrew Holness is a playboy government. That's why I'm linked with big stinking Big Mama and George Davis. Them. They are playboys. You understand? And all them do is, you know, when you have a little youth, what them like Sweetie and them like Ty. When we find out with the Labour Party government, them love the one of the sweets them. And all them do is play with toys. Because them like to play with the thing where we know, so we burn out of society, which is corruption. Who are the mastermind to the corruption? Big Mama, George Davis, Fisherless Abcock, Big Stinking Warthog, and the whole lot of them, we can't name them. Because it's a long list of them, you know. And them can't try to mash up Jamaica and tell lie on People's National Party officials. Yeah? Look on Big Mama, Big Swat, Stinking Mama. I carry 20 years. What a belly pain to PG. You're right, they said in about so much. So long him take to deliver birth. You understand? because Big Mama carry belly pain to PJ, you know. Yeah, 20 years him come out and I make mention of it because the lawsuit, based on the interest we add on to it, come up to about the same 20 million. And it relate to the 20 year Big Mama carry the pain for. So Big Mama, you need to live with that pain there. Yeah? But I'm going to make Tufton be a Caesar revert. You understand? Because it look like you can't push. I don't know whether you use and bung you, but you can't push out. So,
few more seconds to wrap up, melting pot. Few more seconds to wrap up.
We don't want no more this gutter politics in our society no more. We can't have radio station we're supposed to credible, discredible. You understand? Dishonest. Yeah, misinformation, disinformation. And all I'm saying, that boys club need to decommission. And Big Mama need to pay 1.3 billion in a tax because the government cannot provide you with no sweetie anymore like we have to provide you with. And I yield back the floor to you, sir.
All right. Yes, melting pot. Now let us bring Lady Spinks in the space.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle Byron. Before I comment on the subject matter, I would like to say I must commend my comrades in the press conference a while ago. You notice that the youngest of the three corrected the two older comrades in the public, and none of them were upset because this is how comrades are supposed to behave. We are humble people, we love each other, and we will take corrections from our other comrades. And any other behavior, the opposite behavior of that, is a labor right kind of behavior. Now, on the subject of at hand right now, Tufton should have learned from the case, the court case of Clifton or Cliff and PJ Patterson. You should have learned never mess with a PNP lawyer because we have good lawyers over here. Now we look at how much tax write-offs that Cliff Hughes has gotten over the many years, and the fact that he now owes rent where he's located. That is why he has to move to the digital building downtown Kingston. It shows that he has no fiscal responsibility.
Exactly.
It is so typical of a laborite. They just spend, and he has many Christmas parties, and he has many this and many that parties, yet you cannot pay your rent and you cannot pay your taxes. Cliff Hughes, we're coming for you. No, when that young man from over there, I don't consider them journalists over on NNN, you know. When a young man talk about how Paul did a very good job at securing, making that deal, right? And PJ Patterson had nothing to do with the deal. That is how a prime minister is supposed to do. A prime minister is not supposed to micromanage any ministry. And that is what we see happening right now with Andrew Holness and his government. He micromanages every ministry instead of allowing the minister who is appointed to the portfolio to do the job he's been assigned. So the fact that PJ allowed Paul Will to take the helm of the issue, of the situation, it shows that a good leader allows the minister to do the job he's been elected to do.
He wasn't micromanaging.
No, doesn't micromanage.
Yes.
And Portia did not micromanage anybody either, because that's what a good leader is supposed to do. Now, look at the comment about more man going to have girl versus Andrew saying he is the best baby father. What is the difference between those two?
Let's look at that.
You understand me?
Exactly.
And he's talking about nobody quotes PJ Patterson. Let me explain something to this young man. When a person is dead, most times people quote them. And you will realize people mostly quote a dead person than a person who is living. PJ is still alive and well. So don't even look at that. He has a legacy and he's still alive. He has a lot more to offer to Jamaica. You understand? Because he's there on our campaign trail. He came to Montego Bay. He did a town hall meeting. He did another one in Kingston. He's campaigning heavily for Mark Golden to win. So What more do you want from the man?
Exactly.
Do you understand me? The fact that he endorses Mark Golden publicly. What more do you want from the man? And when he's talking about murder rates, we have proven here on this program that under this DPP, more murders have committed in this country than from 62 until she took the reign as DPP. So let this young man go do his research, as you said, and he needs to start seeking a job. Because I keep wondering, asking myself a couple of days ago when I heard they're planning to move the NNN station to downtown. If you can't pay your rent where you're at, and if you can't pay your taxes where you're at, how are you going to move to a more expensive location and pay that rent? Are you going to, is the rent there discounted? Or are you catching there? Will you be catching there for free? Because if you can't afford a lower rent, how are you going to afford a higher rent? You see, they're not physically responsible, and Cliff needs to look at his books and check his accounts and know what it is to run a business. You have to check your numbers before you start and do things. And Cliff usually want the taxes. Anytime after September 3rd, we want the taxes. And I yield the floor.
Thank you, Sister P. Thank you, Sister P, for that. Right. Let us get into the next folder here. Now, we want to just highlight all of the propagandists, all of them who are coming out in the defense of Andrew Holness, and what they are defending really and truly is criminality. Not to worry about what they are defending is 100% criminality. Now, when I heard Emily Shields, right, as a lawyer, looking on the Integrity Commission investigation and try to show a monkey wrench, so-called monkey wrench into it, right, to say that the Integrity Commission investigators persecuted Andrew Holness. That is actually what she said. And I said, my God, do you mean your country any good? Do you mean your country any good, Emily Shields? Because you take side, right, with a kleptocratic government. And you're not saying in terms of appealing to your moral compass. I have never heard you stating that, okay, Prime Minister must cooperate with the Integrity Commission investigators before it even go to FID. Right? To set an example. If the Prime Minister has nothing to hide, remember what IC is pursuing and asking Andrew Holness for is to explain his source of wealth. And that is what FID is going to investigate. And if it goes into the judiciary, which 100% I believe it is going to be his source of wealth. He has to explain it. And instead of the Prime Minister, right, to the fact that the Prime Minister knew very well that he can't explain it because it hinges on corruption. And if he speaks the truth, he's going to be charged and go to prison. And that's the truth. And so then the Prime Minister is doing everything to avoid the truth from coming out. Now, so look at this now. Let us hear what Emily Shields said. We know that people already heard this, but we are talking about the wave of these propagandists, right? Start to attack, right? Anyone that opposed the Jamaica Labour Party kleptocratic government, and by so doing, they are protecting the status quo of corruption. Let us dig into that. Let us hear Emily Shields.
Integrity Commission annual report is supposed to, more than anything else, give the public some information that the Integrity Commission is worth the more than $1.8 billion given to it to fund its operation and to carry out its statutory mandate.
People who hear all that is so disrespectful. So then what Emily Shield is saying, that the $1 billion, right, as it relates to the IC budget, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. Because they are now persecuting the government that they shouldn't be persecuting. They should now accept, right, the fact that the government cannot explain its wealth. This is what Emily Shield is saying. Now, let us play on.
That is the intention of the annual report. How are you spending our money in furthering the objects and the purposes of the law that has set up this Integrity Commission? Regrettably, because not many results have so far come out of the commission.
Now, you said regrettably, not so many far result has come out of the commission. You see how you are deceiving. You see how you are deceiving. Why there is no result? Let me ask you a question. Let me show you all of the results that should come and didn't come. Isn't that the Integrity Commission investigators, right, recommend Andrew Holness to be charged when they investigated Andrew Holness as it relates to 2007 to 2009, as it relates to the influencing of contracts to Gavin? Come on, Emily Shield, you forget that? Isn't that the Integrity Commission investigator investigated Andrew Holness between the period 2007 to 2009, right? And send it to the corruption prosecutor for the corruption prosecutor to have Andrew Holness prosecuted? Isn't that was the case? What happened? What happened, Emily Shield? Why did the corruption prosecutor let go Andrew Holness? He did not let go. She did not let go Andrew Holness because Andrew Holness, there was nothing to look into, or the investigation was unwarranted. She chose to let it go because what she said, right, that the duration of the time, right, and so then as a result of the duration of the time, she claimed that, okay, it is a little bit difficult to prosecute. No, that's what she said, Emily. Eh? Isn't that she was talking about abuse of process? Remember that, Emily? May I break down the thing them now, you know? Remember that the corruption prosecutor let go Andrew Holness because she said the time was too long and it's abuse of process. Now that, okay, let us hear what you have to say.
A lot of people have literally been clinging to straws in the annual report. And we are making all sorts of conclusions when investigations are not concluded. We are making all sorts of cerebrally ridiculous and empty calls when investigations have not been concluded.
Let me answer you right there. When I talk about investigation, right? Investigations are not concluded. Let me ask you a question, Emily Shield. Do you know how many persons the Integrity Commission put before the court and how many persons have been convicted, which are the mainstream media now want to come out and talk? You know, it is several, right, persons that the Integrity Commission investigated and have them prosecuted. We talk about that, Emily Shield. We choose to nitpick. The truth about the matter, you need to go back and do your research, and you will see that there are several persons being charged, right, being investigated, put before the corruption prosecutor, and they're put into the court, and they have been prosecuted. They have been prosecuted. But the way much it seems now that we are spending billions of dollars and the Integrity Commission investigators sit there not doing anything. So you are dishonest and deceiving. You are a devil in disguise.
And we are jumping ahead of ourselves. 50 pages long, 270 odd. And we are flipping through the report to find out things on this so-called illicit six, which the political hacks have latched onto for political reasons only. Never mind that these investigations may come to naught. And we will probably...
Never mind, Emily Shields. Never mind. Because to change the farm, you are going to witness many of them, one by one, they will be put into the court. One by one, they will be going to the court, and you will be witnessing it. Emily Shields, take her away from me. Take her away. Take her away. Take her away. Now, let us show you something, Emily Shields, right? And go through the document and show you that you're a stupid person, right? When you're talking about, right, the Integrity Commission investigators had certified Andrew Holness statutory declaration from 1998 up until 2000. Let us show you and break down certain things for you because you don't get it. You don't get it. You're just a JLP operative, right? Let us get to that document. Sworn. Let us get to document number 1. Let us show you something here. Because you don't get it, you don't get it, Emily Shields. Now let me take the same route that you have taken. You can get it. Let me get it out. Okay. Let me just send this document. Okay. I refer to paragraph 12H. Let me see. Yes, I refer to paragraph 12H of the second Holness affidavit. There is no attempt to stir up the public sentiment against Mr. Holness or embarrass him in any way. That is what Mr. Beresford is saying to you, saying to the public, that there is no attempt, right, to stir up any sentiment or embarrass Mr. Holness in any way. His only interest is to faithfully discharge the mandate of the Integrity Commission as it relates to them giving $1 billion to carry out their duty. Emily Shields, my only interest is to faithfully discharge the mandate of the Integrity Commission. The matter of the source of funds concerning the claimant companies with respect to Mr. Holness' statutory declaration for 2021 remains outstanding. So this is what Mr. Beresford, right, is saying to you, right, that they cease in terms of certifying the 2021. So then let me ask you a question, Emily Shields. Don't you want to know the reason as to why Andrew Holness' statutory declaration from 1998 to 2020 was certified? Remember, those were certified as a result. Let me take time to speak to you. as a result of the information that was given to the Integrity Commission investigators at the time. And so then, as a result of new information comes in that Mr. Holness was not truthful in terms of his statutory declaration. There is no stage in terms of certifying Andrew Holness' statutory declaration as a result of what they look on and see a significant, right, increase as it relates to Holness' statutory declaration. Now, here it is. Once the source of funds is confirmed for the for Mr. Holness' 2021 statutory declaration, then the examination of this 2021 to 2023 statutory declarations, right, will be concluded. That is what he's saying. Now, take this away. Let us go to document number 2 to clear up that and to make it a little bit clearer for all of us. Go to document number 2, where that is the area that that Emily Shields is talking about. That okay, they are now satisfied as it relates to Andrew Holness' statutory declaration between 1998 to 2020, and then now the only problem is Andrew Holness' statutory declaration for 2021. No, that is misleading, and that's why we are going to give you the background. That is misleading, madam. That is misleading to the public, right? You're trying to swing it. So let us give you the background so that you can fully understand. And I think you have seen this, but you choose not to read this. Now, Mr. Holness entered representational politics in 1998. This is the background. And commenced filing statutory declarations in accordance with the Parliament Integrity of Members Act over the years. Upon examination of his statutory declarations network, statements were prepared. The changes in Mr. Holness' network over the years were closely monitored, and these statements were presented to the then Integrity Commission for review. Now, listen, based on the information the Commission received at the time, let me read that over. Based on the information the Commission received at the time, all the network statements reviewed up to the year 2011 were cleared by the Commission. So people, let us read that over and get what, right, the Integrity Commission is saying. The changes in Mr. Holness' network over the years were closely monitored, and these statements were presented to the Integrity Commission for review, right? Now, listen, based on the information the Commission received at the time, all the network statements reviewed up to 2011 were cleared by the Commission. Why they were cleared? They were simply cleared because Andrew Holness did not reveal several companies that Andrew Holness have. More you get it, more you take time break it down to you in Emily Shields. All of these were cleared by the Commission because based on the information the Commission received at the time, all the network statement reviewed up to the year 2011 were cleared by the Commission based on what? The information the Commission received at the time. I'm going to repeat it, because trust me, it just seems like, boy, something wrong with the brain. No. Consequently, an inordinate increase in wealth was identified, and as a result, a special investigation was considered. Now, you hear that? Have you heard that, Emily Shield? That after all of that, between 1998 to 2011, right? All of that, right, were certified as a result of what Andrew Holness, the information that Andrew Holness had given the Integrity Commission at the time. But now, let us move forward now. Let us move forward for better understanding. Consequently, an inordinate increase in wealth was identified, and as a result, a special investigation was considered. Now, look, this commenced and was conducted by an external investigator. So, I don't see why you blame the Integrity Commission, investigator. As a result of that, right, as it relates to what they saw, what the Integrity Commission did, look, listen, this commenced and was conducted by an external investigator. Now, watch this now. So, the external investigator is now going to submit report. No, watch this now. Based on what the investigations gleaned, which encompass now declaration years 2005 to 2016. Listen now, Emily Shields. A detailed report seeking its comments response was sent to Mr. Holness in October 2017 to come now and clarify this because new information added. What the Andrew Holness had, even from the Integrity Commission investigators, have now been revealed. At least, let me say some of it. Let me say some of it to be careful. Now, up to February 21, 2018, the Commission was not satisfied with the response they had received. Hence, the matter was brought to the attention of the new Integrity Commission. Remember now, where it was referred to the Director of Investigation. Won't you understand that, Now, with respect to the 2017 annual report of the Farmer Integrity Commission, mention was made that Mr. Holness' declaration was not cleared. People want to see it and read it, With respect to the 2017 annual report of the Farmer Integrity Commission, mention was made that Mr. Holness' declaration was not clear. This is due to the fact that not all the bills, not all the bills supporting payables of approximately $20.3 million, which are in respect of the construction of his house at Lot 202 Shenstone Drive, were presented. To date, the remaining bills to support the total amount are still not yet being submitted, Emily Shields. As we speak, in Mr. Holness' 2018 statutory declaration, he mentioned that he is still reconciling this amount. You hear that? Now, on May 21, 2019, a letter was sent to Mr. Holness advising him of the outstanding matter and asking that he respond to June 25th, 2019. The Integrity Commissioner begged him. The Integrity Commission should have started. This is what I'm saying, Emily Shields. And you know to Emily Shields. Because what? What being discovered right here, Emily Shields, is that he lied to the Integrity Commission investigator. And Emily Shields, you know that he should be charged based on the Integrity Commissioner. You know that he should be charged. So we can move on to show you how lenient they were with him. So it is not like they're on a mission pursuing him to get him, and it's a get you moment. It is right there that you can read it, Emily Shields. It is right there. Now take this away. Let us get to another document. Now watch this now. Watch this now, people. Let us put up this and show this evidence. And this is what Emily Shields is supporting. This is what Emily Shields is supporting. Let us look at this. Right? Findings. Let us look at the findings. Now, further to the Integrity Commission letter dated October 5th, 2017, and subsequent reminders, Mr. Holness, Andrew Holness, provided responses to the Commission queries in a 36-page financial journal, including attachment detailing business activities, investment and liabilities. His explanation disclosed multiple business and accompanying investment, assets, and income which were not previously declared. Somebody go send go call Emily Shields. Somebody needs to send and call Emily Shields. So Emily Shields, have you seen this? Have you seen the findings? Emily Shields? And are you interpreting the findings as, ordinary people who is looking on this, right, and interpreting it just like I am? Here it is in clear detail on a rocket science this. His explanation disclosed multiple businesses and accompanying investment, assets, and income which were not previously declared. So, Emily Shields, let me ask you now, since you can, what can you deduce from this, Emily Shields? Let me ask you a question. When you hear this, what can you deduce from this? What I deduce from this right here is the fact that, okay, based on the fact that now you are now revealing, right, businesses and other investment that you have involved with, which you did not tell us from the beginning, that is going to affect all those statutory declarations that were certified from 1998 to 2000. So let me ask you, Emily Shields, would you deduce that all those statutory declarations now will now be affected? A simple argument, simple reasoning, I reason with you. Now, the financial journal date back to 1998. Listen, and remember, this is Andrew Holness' financial journal. Now, Mr. Holness was first elected as a member of parliament and covers the period to 2018. The documents as presented were accepted as being additional records. Additional records. So this is one of the amendments that had done, which again, Andrew Holness should be charged, because this is full proof that he has not fully disclosed all of his assets, income, and liabilities as it relates to his statutory declarations. He hid it. So this again, Andrew Holness should be charged. Right? And so then, the documents as presented were accepted as being additional records and explanations supplied by the Prime Minister and form the basis upon which we shall form our conclusion. Right? Now, here it is. Now, let us show you now, Emily Shield. It is important to highlight the business activities, associated transactions, and other undeclared investment. Undeclared investment. So, Emily Shields, more you understand that, before stating the response to the Commission's query as they form the basis of his explanation. Now, undeclared business asset investment, income, and liabilities. The following disclosures were made in the Financial Journal to the Commission relating to the business activities, investment, income, and personal loans not previously declared. Let us read. What is the operative word here? What are the operative words not previously declared? You know, Emily Shields, to see if you get this in your brain. Number one, Premium Group Limited, which was not previously declared. So we have the spoon feed here, Emily Shields. Because obviously, right, it seems like, yeah, nah. Premium Group Limited, which was not previously declared. Prior to June 1998 election, Mr. Holness was employed as a special assistant to Mr. Edward Seaga and manages business Premium Group Limited, a position he held until September 2000. Of note, income from this employer was not declared for December 2000. You get that, Emily Shields, you get that in here. Now, I could get down. Number 2, Sunshine Mobile Company Limited. Mr. Holness noted that he was involved in a taxi business and before his entry into representational politics owned 3 motor cars, which he contracted to Sunshine Mobile Limited. After Mr. Holness registered the Lido taxi service, he had as many as 8 cars operating in Sunshine Mobile Company. I mean, I don't see one Jamaican that recognize none of this business here. Our Sunshine Mobile Company. No Jamaican. Right? In November 2000, Mr. Holness indicated that agreed to purchase Sunshine Mobile Company from then owner Bob Buchanan on the following items. Just take it away. Let us go to something that I want to show. Where are we now? Yeah. Bring it up. Right? Let us show something here. And then I bring in the panel. Now, Emily Shields. Look at this Emily Shields. You look, come look on them investment at Emily Shields. When I say that Andrew Holness, trust me, you have to face the court, Andrew Holness. Now, between the period 2008 to 2019, right? Tax and security. Look at what Andrew Holness claimed that he invested in tax and security SSL. 108,000 US dollars, 125. 293,000, right, in 2009. Right, $273.37. 342,000 in 2010. $153.61. 136,000 in 2019. $177. All of this, as according to him, he invested in SSL, knowing that SSL was going to crash, and he sits on top of the pyramid scheme. Right? US dollars, listen up, people. This is US dollars. Now, more again, look at this in JMMB now, in a people. $56,065.63. JMMB, this, US dollars in a people. 101,569.88. So in a 2009 in a people, when you look what I'm doing, input $293,273.37 in a tax and security, and also in a JMMB $101,569.88. Where Andrew Holness get so much US dollars from? Now, also, right, this is the invoice, right, total of $394,843. Mighty God of Daniel. Come here. Now, look on 2010. Look what the man doing at 2010. In a tax and security limited. Remember, in 2009, he invested all of this line and see the total one invested here. $394,843.25 US dollars. In a 2010, $342,153.61 in a tax and security. In a JMMB, $94,133.11. Let us look at the invoice total, $436,286.72. This is somebody where they come from can't even pay him school loan, In a 2019 final declaration, US $136,177, US $7,347, with a total on the invoice $143,000.54. $524.13. Mighty God of Daniel. Take this way. Take this paper away. Take this paper away. Let us go. Let us quickly go to the panel. Now, opening batsman.
Yes, sir, B.
6 minutes to break this down because we have to come back in the evening. We have to come back on the next slide.
I just want to know what kind of vested interest Emily Shields have in Andrew Holness and the case where I'm have with the Integrity Commission. Because, I mean, it's plain and obvious. Everybody can see it's recorded, it's documented, it's up on a spreadsheet as it relates to the type of activity as it relates to banking, the source of banking as it relates to US dollars. Yeah. So, I mean, plain and obvious, cannot be disputed. Andrew Holness corrupt the Integrity Commission with submitting falsified declaration from as far back as 1998. And once you start something under that circumstance, no matter how much years follow down the line, all of them they're wrong. Because the genesis was wrong from beginning. What Andrew Holness submit to the Integrity Commission. So Integrity Commission just merely take where him give them as face value in the early phase. Yeah. But it's when them start to have certain inclinations that this guy had to bandulism in the country. Yeah, and them ask him now, boom bam bam, and him beg them time. And then give him time almost to the tune of 2 years. I think at 18 to 19 months and get before him finally resubmit. This is what Andrew Holness put out a new submission getting back from then. The things them that him did omit out of the report as it relates to where him declare in terms of him asset. You understand? So him never knows that Integrity Commission they can look back on when they give them from them time. Andrew I don't. Andrew open up all the can of worm them we are look on you now. So if your integrity statutory declaration, yeah, where you supposed to have at hand to submit to the Integrity Commission is wrong from the beginning. It is also wrong up to the ending. So Andrew Holness have to be charged for falsified declaration, for not making mention of all these things where Byron just show as it relates to Sunshine Mobile, Dildo Taxi Service, and all these things, and all some loan institution where I run. Or me, you got bridge and all them things. Andrew never did tell them about that from in 1998. Exactly. So, Emily Shield, you need to understand, say, you are not the Integrity Commission. You need to do your work. Which part you there, you need to do your journalism work and stop practice corruption and propaganda. Yeah, because you ask some question to the Prime Minister and the journalist. You should have asked me and Byron and Pinks to deal with. And the rest of people in the social media space. So you are back Andrew Holness because you was getting some of the gravy, you get kickback. Yeah, Andrew can't value them money there. Because when you look on all the period coming up to 2011, yeah, Andrew have a bag of money, you know. We see it now, but yet still Andrew are going like in the broke. And I tell people about him to take loan for doing house. Yeah, up at Beverly Hills. Andrew never take no loan, no mortgage. We established that long time. But we used to say Andrew have the money there. And that's why it proves they never take no loan, no mortgage. So Andrew a lie in every step of the way. Andrew a lie because a liar is a thief. Andrew is a thief. Where Andrew get all these money from? Where Andrew get 47 million for bring coming to politics? After leaving university in 1994, another delinquent student can't pay tuition fee. Him come out in the Sunday supplementary. You understand? And you, Emily, you remember that? So all between that period to when them coming to politics, 97, him bring 47 million. Between them 2 years, them earn more than what the Prime Minister earn in the country. And that if you know Emily. So from there, so Andrew Holness thing corrupt to the core. Andrew thing shows that Andrew involved in a bandolism. Where Andrew get the money from, that's all the Integrity Commission and everybody asks him, you know. Tell me about the genesis of your wealth. Don't tell us it start from 2 and 3 taxi. Because even this Andrew has a conflicting statement. Because in the report when filed, where him file, you know. Not where Craig Berry's for them compile. Where Andrew filed in his statutory declaration report. Yeah, as it relates to the new one, the recent one and submit.
Exactly.
Him say 3 taxi. But if they have a 3 at all, but him start with 2 taxi. You know, so now lunatic. You know, back in that lunatic. And the whole town is just like Andrew, the whole town is lunatic. Emily Shields, if me have nothing to do with anything in Jamaica, me all you know, because you look like you have some knowledge about Andrew. Because you are talk about all the next 6 them. What the Integrity Commission of pursue people, where them find and with illicit enrichment. You think as a Jamaica for run, like how you run the radio station RJR, them to fire you. That's why them a lose money in a revenue and them a lose listenership. Them forget rid of your RJR, it's a piece of shit. You can't back a criminal prime minister, we mash up the place. We can't explain him well what it look like, you can't explain it. Oh, you're so close to the man business. That simply means you the panelists. And that you show to me, you know. Yeah, and you can draw yourself out of this now, you know. You put yourself in the spotlight. So we know have to start looking on you. We have to start looking to your background. Oh, you're so close, you're coming like you're a liar. You don't know. Because you act like a man liar, you're depending.
All right.
You need to understand yourself, Panty Shield. I yield back the floor.
All right. Sister, thank you for that melting pot. Powerful information there. Yes, Sister Pinks, proceed.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle Byron. I will go back to the press conference a while ago where our comrade Dr. Um, Donald Scott Mudley,
Yes.
sister-in-law to our Madam Maya Mudley from out of Barbados,
All right.
when she stated that Horace Chang should take the mote out of his eyes because they are the ones doing what she was claiming. No, I would like to say this to my comrades, blood and fire comrades. Just like how we come here every day criticizing the JLP, highlighting their corruption, highlighting their evil ways, I would like to make sure, and I'm going to advise again my comrades. We have a comrade leader who has clean hands and a clear heart and a clean heart. And I would like to say this, comrades, make sure you're on the same level as our comrade leader. If you have any issues in your dark closets, make sure they clear up because we have a leader out there and it makes no sense. We are promoting a leader and you yourself have some issues to deal with. No, let me deal with Emily Shields, Jamaica. We all know that there are some educated dunces out there. And most of them fall within the JLP camp. That is why Damian Crawford asked last week Saturday, what is in the room? Because this reasoning that Emily Shields is giving is like a bar stool talk.
Exactly.
You understand me? No sober person who is sober would issue that statement that she make about the IC and the IC report. Emily Shields, for years, I need to ask you this question. I want to ask you this question. For years ago, I want to ask you this question. You're asking if the IC, you are asking if the IC deserve the money that they get per year. Do you deserve the airtime to be on RJR?
Exactly.
Do you deserve to be there? And the worst thing about it, you are married to Mark Shields, who came to Jamaica to give advice about security and the law. So both of you are in the legal professions, one way or the other. Mark Shields, you need to talk to your wife and draw her up, because obviously you're not doing your husbandly duty by being the head of your household. How can you have your wife out here misleading the people, misinforming the people? Not all of us out here are dunces. We can read with comprehension. And that is why we're out here every day, letting the people know the truth. Emily Shields, let me ask you something again. What you're doing, is creating public mischief.
Exactly.
Public mischief. You and Cliff Hughes are in the same boat sailing down the river of corruption. And here is a mantra I live by. I created this mantra, and it is something I live by. Intelligence is what you're born with. Education is what you pay for. Wisdom is what you pray for. And you need all three to live in this life. And obviously, intelligence is not on the liberal side. Wisdom is not on the liberal side. And if you look on our side of the PNP, you will see we have intelligence, we have education, and we have wisdom. And you need all three to exist in this world today. My Jamaican voters going out there, my Northwest St. James people going out to vote on the September 3rd, I beseech you, we need 2/3. We need Alan Bernard. He's a bright and brilliant person.
Exactly.
He deserves that seat. We need to remove the deputy mayor, the deputy prime minister, I should say. As Donald Scott Motley said, she could not understand his bambling, his ramblings in his statement. And he's accusing us. And as I said before, Glendavon and Churchill are the two trouble spots in Northwest St. James that produce fake IDs. And we will not do it this year again. We need to get Horace Chang out of that seat. And I yield the floor, Uncle Byron.
All right. Well, that is that for us, because we are coming back within the next hour and some change. Right. So this is the first part of Mystic Sensation. Right. People remember to tune in to us within the next hour and some change. Which is 6 p.m. our time, 7 p.m. Jamaica time. All right. Remember that. So I want to say a big thanks to the panel, Pinks, Ladies Pinks, and of course the opening batsman, 19 Pat. Big up yourself, my boss. Right. Really appreciate it. Right. So this is where it stopped, and we will extend we will come back. We will return at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Jamaica time. All right. Blessings. All right.
I know why you come to me with that foolishness, You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right kind of stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.